Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Junior Enterprises.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
In Davie, come on by, join us, have some fun, get some Canes swag with Manny Navarro coming by today. By the way, he'll be here live at 12:30, and of course with Mario Cristobal in the mix. You definitely want to get some Canes swag. You can get your Dolphin swag too, by the way. Okay, we still love our Dolphins. We will always love our Dolphins, even though they drive us all crazy. And they don't do the things that we want them to do, like win a Super Bowl or 3 or 4, those kind of things. But, come on by. You can get your Marlins gear. By the way, Marlins have got nice swag. I hope baseball resolves their issues and gets a little baseball going. There we go. I'm trying to get all my things going. We're slightly late. I don't know. It all depends. Are you really late when there really isn't a... It's not really 10 o'clock if we really don't want to, because it's not like we really end at 1 o'clock all the time anyway, right? Yeah, we never end at 1 o'clock, right? So it's not like that. Anyway, so we are out here at Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive, right here in Davie. And just texting too at the same time with someone. So come on by. We'll be out here for a few hours. So if you want to join us, we got a loaded show. Ira's going to join us at 10:30. We've got Cameron Wolf at 11. We got Omar Kelly at 11:30. And Manny Navarro will be here live with us at 12:30. So how about that? I mean, you can't beat that. So if you want to meet Manny Navarro at 12:30, come on by here at Caneswear. And you can get your Canes gear. Man, I'm so jacked. Mario Cristobal has got me jacked about the Canes. Okay, it's what happened? What happened? What's going on? What's going on? What's wrong with you? What are you getting all flustered about?
I feel like this is the same thing every year. I get it. It's Mario Cristobal this time.
Yeah, he's organized, bro.
But
like he
everybody
won at
got excited with every offseason.
I
Mario
know.
Diaz won every offseason. The Hurricanes win every offseason.
Yeah. But that's Manny Diaz, who had never proven it. He'd never been a head coach. You know what I'm saying? This guy's been a head coach at Oregon. Coker wasn't a head coach before he took over, even though, he had pretty good success. But Randy Shannon wasn't the guy. Al Golden was at Temple. So, you know what I mean? We have legitimacy here. We have a guy that bleeds orange and green. We have a guy that cares about the Canes. We have a guy that's incredibly organized. intense. I just think, how about this? I'm inspired, not because I'm telling you we're going to win a title and they're going to dominate. I'm just inspired because I think I'm going to have the kind of Canes football I can be proud of. How about that?
Okay. All right.
Okay?
I'll take it.
Okay? That's it.
I'll take it.
That's
I'll
what
go
I
back to my
want.
hole.
It's what I want. It's what I want. And that is Sean Stanley, by the way. The man that finally has a job in radio that pays him on time, something that hasn't happened to him the last couple of years.
I can eat tonight. Yes.
You have no idea what Sean and I have been through the last couple of years. You have no idea what we've been tied to the last couple of years. You have no idea the hell we're going through. Went through. We're not. There's nothing now. Now I think this is like the most satisfaction I've ever had in my career, to be honest with you. Right? Isn't it like the most satisfaction?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like by miles. Like it's not
especially
even close.
for me too, on a professional level, looking at the YouTube channel and things like that, and watching it grow. It's like
it's you.
It's a personal accomplishment, and
yeah,
of course, this got to go off during now.
It's you. That's why. That's what I love about it. That's what I love about it. It's a beautiful thing. You and I are partnered up in this thing, getting this thing done, and we get to build something, and we get to see it, and we don't have to, be lied to by people above us, or or misguided in other ways.
The check is in the mail.
Oh yeah, the check is in the mail and via Singapore.
By the way, I'm still waiting on that check.
Yeah, I can imagine. So yeah, it's this is about the most satisfying that we've ever had as guys in radio and being in. I've had a lot of good times myself, but this personally, to watch this thing grow on its own and be community driven, it's pretty freaking awesome. So
that's the other thing. I think
thank you all.
The growth in the Big O community too that we're seeing, and witnessing it's
cool.
It's got no words, honestly, for me.
Yeah, no, me neither. It's been one of those things that can't explain. And by the way, don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button out there, man. Appreciate all of you out there. Let's see what we got here. Jamie Zorria, Steve Chapman is in. Says if the Dolphins don't hire their coach soon, they're going to be left without the bottom of the barrel. Now, I think this is the guy. I think you'll have it all done this weekend. I think you'll see Mike McDaniel named the coach. Now, if something happens with Mike, then yeah, it could get really, really ugly.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're starting to see the scraps kind of get picked up now, right? By certain teams.
Peterson got picked up.
But I looked at who they had for second interviews, okay? Nathaniel Hackett signed with, I forgot who, I want to say Bears? Broncos, right?
Broncos, yes.
Yep. Eberflus signed with the Bears.
Right.
Byron Leftwich withdrew his name.
Right.
The fourth person, and the only person left on the list
was Peterson.
Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Who I think was an emergency yesterday.
Right. They don't have a lot of people left that'll take that job. That's how Peterson gets a job. Because remember, I told you, I thought there were just token interviews with him. But you know what? I didn't count on the Jags. I should have counted on the Jags that, they're going to have to get sloppy ace. And so that's the thing. The Mike McDaniel thing, if it doesn't happen for the Dolphins, then that means something ugly happened. Okay, that means that Mike McDaniel changed his mind. Because I told you from the get-go for the last couple of weeks, right? Dable was 1, McDaniel was 2. That's how I told you. I didn't even give you a 3 because I don't even believe their plan is there's a 3 in place. Now, I know some of you out there, you want to convince yourselves that Harbaugh was in the mix and all that. He was never in the mix. So, whatever. But it's crazy, man. But yeah. So Peterson did get he got the sloppy ace there and got the job. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll get the job, Thomas, and we can move on and start to talk. Look, we'll have this lingering lawsuit over us for a long time. So I will tell you this. I know we're going to talk about it for now for a little bit, but I'm not going to allow it to like cloud the whole show every single day for the rest of our lives. Okay, we got to move on. And once they hire Mike McDaniel, then we can start to talk about the draft, and we can start talk about free agency, and we can start to talk about, maybe some of his assistant coaches and whatever moves he makes. I want to start getting into football. Okay, because in the end, you still got to play football and you still got to get ready for the new season. All right, whatever happens between Flores and Ross, well, we'll deal with that in the process. But we've got to compartmentalize ourselves too, and kind of move forward and talk about some football once we get to get the coach, and we can now start to envision things. And let me tell you something that I like. The more I start to think about the Mike McDaniel addition for the Miami Dolphins, the more I like it. Okay? The Daboll one made all the sense in the world. I understood. You all know I wanted Jim Caldwell. Okay, so Jim Caldwell, I guess, is too old for everybody, or the health issues or whatever. Nobody's giving the man a chance. Okay, so Daboll made sense. He had coached Tua, all that stuff. We all know. This man, what I like about Mike McDaniel is he has a healthy respect for the running game. And I know that we'll have Omar on later, and Omar, one of the what's it called, philosophies that Omar has, I like too. I'm a big fan of it. Is running the ball, and I think it's imperative for any team to have success. You've got to be able to dominate on the ground. It sets it up for every quarterback out there. And so McDaniel's a guy that truly believes in the run. And I'm a big believer of that. You need somebody that is completely dedicated to getting everybody to block and help out in the run game. And you can do that. And then the other thing is he's dynamic and young enough, being a part of Shanahan. See, here's where some of us are going to have some differences now. Because when I tell you you can create a dynamic offense with Tua, I'm now going to get the Neanderthals that really don't know a lot about football. And they just like, oh, you mean like a 70-yard bomb? Well, he can't throw a 70-yard bomb, okay? He's like an Oompa Loompa, and, he doesn't throw it hard. So I know that I'm going to get that from some of you out there, okay? Dynamic doesn't necessarily mean that you always have to be hitting bombs down 50, 70 yards. He could throw a 45, 50, 55-yard ball 70 yards, okay? And rarely is a ball in the air 70 yards anyway. Dynamic means where you create mismatches, where you have a lot of speed on the field, like things that they do in Kansas City, that they've got fast receivers, not just Tyreek Hill. They've got a fast tight end. They've got running backs. And you use the, 54 yards in the width, right? And the 120 yards that you have a field, like Sid Luckman used to say for the San Diego Chargers in the AFL. There's 120 yards a distance on the field, and it's 54 yards wide, and we intend on using every inch of it. I believe that was his quote, something like that. So the great coordinators, whether you're a Bill Walsh, whether you're a Sid Gilman, whether you're a Shanahan, and McDaniel comes from that tree, LaFleur, whatever, you try to spread people out and you try to create mismatches, and you have a lot of speed on the field. And when you have speed on the field, you have a quick twitch offense, which is something that Tua can easily run. His accuracy, his timing, his ball placement, his anticipation, all of those skills are there. You can run an incredibly dynamic offense like they ran in Alabama. But you're going to need a couple of fast guys out there that can actually stay healthy and stay on the field. So you need to find another one or two, not exactly like Waddle, but other guys that bring speed and different skill sets to the table. Okay? And if you create the power running game that sucks in the linebackers, you now create all kinds of space in the middle of the field that you can create havoc. And Tua can easily dissect and find players and in a fast-paced offense that can create all kinds of mismatches. Mike McDaniel understands that. He's watched it with Tua in Alabama. He has seen it in the NFL, and in college, and he can run that kind of offense for Tua. So when I look at the defensive staff in place, which, as we all know, the Philbins and the Flows of the world have struggled to put staffs together. Well, now this young man, and Mike McDaniel comes in, he doesn't have to necessarily worry completely about the defensive staff. Of course, he's got to look at it and see what they do over the next year. So then he probably will tweak a thing or two, obviously, because every coach does. But overall, he's got a base to start with, and they have a scheme already set, and they have continuity in place on defense. They have no continuity, no chemistry, no nothing on offense. So you're not tearing anything down. You're not setting anything back. In fact, you have a better chance of actually moving forward with the offense and the quarterback if you have an inspired offensive coordinator, an offensive mind that is willing to work with Tua and knows how to use him in the way that you need in order to create a dynamic offense. So the more I look at this whole McDaniel situation, the more I actually get a little pumped up about it and say, you know what? Maybe this can work actually. All right. It's not the perfect situation. It's not what I wanted. I understand that, but I'm just not, to sit here and just kind of just kill it completely. No, I'm going to give it a chance. As I've said before, we've been inspired and pumped up about other coaches and things like that. And maybe this is the one that comes in with the least amount of fanfare. It's probably the one that ends up working out, with our luck, the way it is, it probably ends up working out. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, Big O, my worst nightmare is McDaniel doesn't want the job and we're left with Kellen Moore. Even worse, Godsey or Studsville. Yes, I'm with you there because Kellen Moore does nothing for me. He does not inspire me at all, dude. At least with Mike McDaniel, I can get on board. I'm doing it. I'm telling you, I'm getting on board. I can buy it. I can see the vision in how it may work. Whether it does or it doesn't, what the hell? You know what hole we've been in for 25 years anyways. Let's see. Big O shouldn't Greer be signing some old O-line talent right now? Danny, you know the rules, my brother. Free agency hasn't started yet. We gotta wait till March. When free agency starts, then you're right. That's when you start, when people become available. Right now, there are, unless it's somebody that got cut, that's a veteran that's available. But right now, no, contracts haven't expired. Nobody's available right now. So no, you can't. There's no signing. Nobody's signing anybody right now. What else do we have here? I like the San Francisco Harry Potter love for the run as well. I'll take whatever we can get. Irving says that's why we need wide receivers like David Bell or Japan Dotson in the draft or Calvin Ridley via trade that make life easier for Tua. Helps take pressure off of Jalen. Yes. Only thing I disagree with you is you don't trade. You don't trade. If you can, I'm trying to hold my sneezes in. If you can sign a free agent wide receiver that's available, you do it. If you can draft it, you do it. You don't trade for it, because trading means that you also have to give them a contract. So then that means you're giving up cap space and draft picks. That's a double whammy. You can't do that if you're trying to build. It's either or. Either you draft or you sign, but you don't trade. You don't trade for a running back. You don't trade for a wide receiver. You draft those guys or sign them flat out in free agency. But don't trade away your draft capital right now. Okay. Now, here's the other thing that I haven't mentioned. I don't know what they're going to do with X yet, how they're going to trade him. Do they trade him for a pick and a player like a Calvin Ridley? Do they trade him just for straight up picks? You know what I'm saying? So maybe X can bring you back one of those players that you need. And then you'll have to then draft another corner or sign. I would think signing a veteran corner in free agency might be what you do. because they're going to have to play Iggy this year. They have to find out if he can play or not. You can't draft a guy and not play him. You have to try to put him out there and find out if he can actually play, because he hasn't played enough to prove anything whatsoever. He needs to go out there in a real game situations, and he actually needs that experience of failure. I think we went through that conversation before, that success is fed off of that. So we'll see. Susie says, see if Suge Knight owned the team, he could just hang McDaniel over the balcony and make him sign. That you could pull a Nino Brown like, right? Isn't that a Nino Brown move? In New Jack City, he had the guy over the bridge. The what? Oh, that he did it to Vanilla. Yes. Yeah. To Van Winkle. Zero interest in Moore. Yeah, no, I'm with you, bro. Kellen Moore does nothing for me whatsoever. I think it would be a terrible hire. Why does your Neanderthal voice have a New York accent? What are you trying to say? Did it have a New York accent? I didn't even notice it, Brooklyn Rob. That was good. Lord Waters. Wow, I think we're honored to get a super chat from someone named Lord Waters. Damn. Are you like above Poseidon? Wide receiver Drake London out of USC, not a Blazer, 4.5 speed, but great hands, 6'5" and tough to bring down, huge target for Tua. Trade DVP out of here. I love how you guys just like, hey, trade DVP. Like there's like a whole bunch of people lined up to trade Devontae Parker. I love how fans sometimes think that, our garbage is like somebody else's treasure. Devontae Parker is a nice player, and we all know he can be really productive for you as long as he's healthy. The problem is he's never healthy. That's why he's never going to be he's not tradable. Like, what are you going to get for Devontae Parker? A 6th or 7th rounder, if you're lucky? Oh, nice. I love it. Nice. There you go. By the way, I talked to John at Edge. He's ready to set you up, he told me. Okay? So you'll have some more Edge energy drink already there, ready to go. Which, by the way, have you guys tried Edge energy drink yet? Like, seriously, myedgedrink.com. If you're looking for the Edge in energy drinks, all right? I'm serious, man. We got the link below so you can get it. Zero aftertaste. So smooth, so delicious. I can't say enough about it. I went through 2 12-packs like it was nothing. Right? Are they 12 or 24? Are they 12 or 24? I think they were 12s. I think they were 12s, the ones I got. Maybe you got bigger ones. I have no idea. I don't know if they come in 24 packs. I think there were 12s. I went through 2 12-packs like it was nothing. The other day I had Marcel on and I had a can. I opened it right at the beginning of the segment. I finished it by the end of the segment. Because it's dangerous because it's so smooth, like the sips get bigger and bigger for me. So delicious too, man. Really, really good. So check it out there if you want a great energy drink delivered right to your house. Let's see. The dude was a ham and egger. Who's the ham and egger? I don't know who he's talking about. Jose Lucas says, sign O lineman in free agency, draft wide receiver, running back, trade for Ridley. No trading for Ridley. No trade for no receiver, bro. You use your picks for players. If you could sign a receiver in free agency, you do it. You do not trade because Calvin Ridley needs a new contract. So you're going to kill cap space and you're going to lose draft picks. No. These guys can draft. They can find another wide receiver. What do we got going on there, Sean?
No, I think the ham and egger they may be talking about looks like Big O thoughts on Greg Cosell, comments on Tua.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see it. What did Greg say?
No, I have to go and look. I don't know. I'm looking. I went back in the chat. I'm guessing that's the ham and egger.
So Greg Cosell called them a ham and egger.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I have to go check out the whole thing.
I have no idea.
That's where the comment was from. That's all I want to make sure.
I have no idea. I know Greg, but hey, listen, man, it's football. That's just the way it is. You're going to agree and disagree on people. That doesn't make a difference to me. Do you know how many people got on the Tannehill bandwagon and then they actually thought he was like a real quarterback in Tennessee? So to me, none of this ever matters. How many of you got suckered? You know how many idiots? I had like 3 or 4 idiots that would constantly text me like, well, what do you think about Tannehill now? And this and that. And it's like, you're falling for the banana in the tailpipe again. So opinions on all this stuff, they come and they go. Let's give it some time. And with the new offensive coordinator, let's see. And we'll see if the kid can do it. And then we'll find out. And we'll see if we're right or we're wrong. Time will answer it all. But I'm definitely not trading for a wide receiver or a running back. Do we have Ira ready to go? We do? All right, I like it. All right, Richard says, Tua has great offensive line, great running game, great wide receivers, game situation, down 13 points for 4 minutes to go. The ball, this quarterback, where's the quick strike? It's all over the place, my brother. That's the problem, Richard. You have zero imagination. So you're the guy that I was just talking about earlier. All you think about is a 70-yard bomb. What if the guy's covered? So if it's designed right, crossing pattern can get you an entire touchdown. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
The only thing I was going to say was McDaniel was so innovative with some of the things he does. And I believe there's the one play that sticks out with everybody is the Trent Brown in motion.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that. Like He sends them in motion on thing. You start looking at some of our guys. I mean,
there's nothing.
It might help some of that offensive lineman as far as with the innovation. And now you get 2 linemen instead of just lining up 6 guys on a line
and educate them and teach them how to read what's going on.
You start breaking
reacting.
Some of these instead of just going line and fall.
Our guys fall for stunts left and right every single time. They never pick up any stunts. That's the O-line coach's job, to teach them how to see all of that, teach them how to find all of that on game film. And that's what we don't have.
You pick that up and then boom, dynamic. All of a sudden, just little things I think could help us become.
When you have a cartoon skunk named Pepe Le Pew coaching your offensive line, you're going to have problems. It's pretty simple. You know what I mean? They don't block in the Kajba, baby. All right, let's talk a little basketball. Ira Winderman is next.
Keep fans. Time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Ira Winderman. And Ira, there was actually a Duncan Robinson sighting yesterday. That was nice watching that game yesterday. There were a lot of positives. Getting Lowry back, which was a sweet thing. Get a little more organization to the offense, which is always a difference with Lowry there. But it was nice to see that Duncan showed up. And it's kind of like what you say, when everything kind of settles down.
Yes,
it's when he kind of works his best, that the other cogs are in place for him to excel.
Yeah, he's a piece that fits on this team, not necessarily with the way other teams would play. The one thing I would like to see now, even out with Duncan Robinson, is more consistency. Is not the 1 of 6 and then the 4 of 7s. Is just provide a steady relief point for the rest of the guys. Don't go outside of your comfort zone, but a little bit more consistency. But that's what getting whole is all about, Big O. It's establishing that consistency that you know your lineup, you know your reserves, and you know your roles. Duncan Robinson fits a role very well on this team, and he showed that now that Kyle Lowry was back last night.
That was nice to see him in the mix, man, because it just you could tell what a real point guard looks like. and you can tell when the offense isn't pieced from possession to possession, where you kind of, Spo is just working magic, trying to create offense and generate it with different people triggering that offense. I mean, I gotta imagine that half a roll of Tums was saved last night for Spo just because he has Lowry on the court.
Yeah, and we never got to that moment of truth last night. San Antonio was woefully
Right.
shorthanded. 3 of their 5 starters were out. But with Kyle back, think of all the games when the Heat were right there at the end, when they were up, when there was a possession game, when you needed the right play at the right moment instead of Jimmy Butler forcing the jumper, instead of Tyler Hero forcing the turnover. That's what you're going to get. Kyle Lowry's here for the moments of truth. He didn't have a basket last night, and that didn't matter against that team. It will matter down the road, but it's really fourth quarter, Kyle. I don't want to say I want to see a close game. It's always easier just to win going away. But you have Charlotte coming up, for example, on Saturday. Looks like it should set up as a close game. That's when Kyle really will have his sort of homecoming and return, when in the moments of truth, where does he get the ball? How does he orchestrate the offense? God bless Gabe Vincent. God bless what they've been able to do to this point. But like you and I said, eventually there'll be go time. Usually it's after the trading deadline, February 10th. Usually it's even after the All-Star game, February 20th. Be whole by then, and you'll be fine. As it is, with all the trials and tribulations, they're mere percentage points behind Chicago for first place in the Eastern Conference.
By the way, you can follow Ira on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. And the Miami Heat will be back in action tomorrow night, taking on Charlotte. Last night, they defeat the Spurs 112-95. You just mentioned the trading deadline. The team's pretty stacked. They're pretty deep overall, I got to say, when we're looking at it. But you never know. Sometimes there's some low-hanging fruit out there.
Absolutely.
And, Riley has been just an absolute kraken when it comes to taking advantage of certain situations over the last 25 years. Can the Kraken rise to take advantage of any disgruntled situations out there in the NBA?
Well, I look at the Heat and I say to myself, where might they need help? And the one question I still have is this. If PJ Tucker is injured or sidelined or in foul trouble, who steps in right there? And the answer at the start of the season was Markieff Morris, who only played 10 games. We haven't seen since November 8th. Otherwise, you're going undersized with Caleb Martin, who wasn't available last night. Matter of fact, last night they briefly went back to Dedmon and Adebayo. Eric Spoelstra sort of experimenting. So I'd say if there's a backup power forward, and that's the move they made at last year's deadline, remember, when they traded Harkless and Silva to Sacramento for Nemanja Bjelica. They thought it would work out. It certainly is working out well for the Golden State Warriors. It didn't necessarily here. And they made the move with Myers Leonard for Trevor Ariza. So it's kind of similar in that the Heat looked at power forward at last year's deadline and said, we can use some depth. Let's get a couple of guys. If there's a simple guy like that, the difference is this year, they don't have a Myers Leonard contract to trade. They don't have a deal like that for a bigger name guy on an expiring contract. I would look at power forward, but I'd also say this to you. We'll get into this again twice next week in our Accurate Pembroke Pines reports, is this. I think the trading deadline will be more impactful to the Heat by what other teams do in the East, what the competition does. What does Philadelphia do with Simmons? Does Cleveland bring in another veteran guard now that they're still sort of questionable there with the injuries that they've had? So I think the trading deadline might be punch and counterpunch, where the Heat almost sit back and say, let's see what the other guys do, and then we'll know how much we need to do.
Tyler Hero yesterday, 24 points. Didn't shoot well from three-point range, but it's funny how a game where he didn't shoot well from three-point range, but he played a hell of a game. He did play a really, really good game.
Yeah, and again, if Max Strus and Duncan Robinson are hitting threes, which they did, Strus hit his first two when he came out there, it doesn't force Tyler to play outside of his comfort zone. You have your three-point shooters, you have your shot creators, which is what Tyler does. Tyler operates better inside the three-point arc. His streak of games with three-pointers came to an end last night. That's fine. That's not what he's here for. But if he can be inventive and creative with that second unit, when there's not as much scoring out there, that's what they need. So you saw that again last night. And again, I want to see that late game situation where Tyler not only doesn't have to force, but where Kyle Lowry can set him up in the best possible position.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of your point, this is also what we see the difference between Tyler and Duncan. That if Duncan's not hitting his threes, he's not nearly as productive for you overall because he doesn't have enough of variety in his
Oh,
game.
absolutely.
There's Tyler. Okay, not a great night for him from three, but every other part of his game is super solid. And so you overlook that and you say, kid had a hell of a game yesterday overall. The threes didn't matter. And it shows you what kind of a basketball player Tyler Hero is.
He's the 3-level scorer that Eric
Yeah.
Spoelstra talks about. He will hit the threes. He will hit the mid-range. He will get to the rim, which is what you want in that type of role as a sixth man. And that's why with all the Heat's machinations and lineups, they've really been careful to try to keep Tyler in that role. That's what he does best. He's their sixth man. You can make an argument. Eventually, he might wind up as one of the greatest Heat sixth men in history, whether you want to put Ray Allen or Dan Marley or Mike Miller in there. There have been a lot of good ones, but he's filling that role specifically. Now we'll see how far they go in the playoffs, how he handles that type of role. But again, we know he's done it once already against the Celtics,
Right.
in the Eastern Conference playoffs a couple of years ago when they went to the finals. So there clearly is plenty that Tyler has already shown and more room for growth. I don't know, Big O, if it was a snub that he didn't make the All-Star game. Not a lot of six men do. That's just historical. I wrote a story about that in the Sun Sentinel. He fills his role. Maybe if there's an injured player or two, possibly. Probably Pascal Siakam is most likely is the first reserve to be picked by Adam Silver if they need someone. But just because he didn't make the All-Star game doesn't mean he's snubbed. He's 22. His time will come.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I think next year, this was his breakout year. Like he had a breakout moment in the bubble. Now he's had his breakout year, and I think next year will be like, okay, now you've earned your stripes, kid. You've now, you're one of us, and I think that will happen next year for him. Now, the other storyline is, and I'm not hoping for it, but I'm hoping for it because I can't root against the Heat to lose or anything like that. But they got Washington and New Orleans after Charlotte, all winnable games. They do want to improve their road record, but in the process, Chicago's only percentage points ahead of Miami. So how does this whole thing end? What's the cutoff date? And is it the last game right before the All-Star game?
No, it's actually Sunday. It's actually coming this Sunday. So I just posted on Twitter. Basically, Chicago has 2 games left against Indiana and Philadelphia. If they win those 2, Billy Donovan's your All-Star coach. Spoelstra doesn't have to worry.
Ooh.
If the Heat win Saturday in Charlotte, remember, Charlotte's playing a back-to-back. They're playing at home tonight also, so they might be a little tired. If the Heat win that and Chicago splits their 2 games, Eric Spoelstra gets to go to the All-Star game with the higher percentage in the East. There's also a chance, even if the Heat lose, Chicago loses 2, Milwaukee loses 2, that Eric Spoelstra could wind up going. Basically, because of the odd number, Big O, because the Heat only have 1 game left, most of the other contenders have 2 games left. It's sort of make or break for Eric Spoelstra tomorrow. And he'd almost like to say, I'll take the win, but I'll defer it in the standings till after Sunday. And that's not how it works. So I would think Chicago probably beats Indiana. But again, Chicago's shorthanded. I think beating Philadelphia comes down to whether Joel Embiid plays against them or not. Philly should win that. Doc Rivers is not eligible to be coach. You can't coach consecutive years. Doc Rivers was the East coach last year, so Philly doesn't matter. Yeah, so Eric Spoelstra is in kind of a pickle right now. And I think there's a very good chance if they beat Charlotte that he will wind up as the Eastern Conference coach for the All-Star game on February 20th in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, so is there any truth? Because there's a rumor out there that Ross is offering Spo $200,000 to lose that Charlotte game tomorrow.
Actually, I think Spoelstra is offering each of his players $10,000 if they help him lose the game, because that's where the onus rests right here. The one thing about Eric also, I mean, there's talk about tanking. There's been so much obviously going on this week. And there clearly was a point one year when the Heat went to Philly and played all of their reserves for 48 minutes because they couldn't afford to win or else they lost a draft choice. But the Heat have played this mostly according to Hoyle. The Heat go for the best record. They deal with the worst seeding. If it's the Knicks 9 years in a row, so be it. That's how they play things. Eric Spoelstra is coaching for the win. He doesn't know any other way. Jimmy Butler doesn't know any other way but to play to win. Nor does Kyle Lowry. Nor does Bam Adebayo. You can't orchestrate it that way. You can't roll out 5 reserves. Not that Eric would at this point. And the bigger picture is this. you want the highest possible seed. You want to avoid the
course.
Clevelands and the tougher
course.
matchups in the first round. You want to take the Knicks or the fodder at the bottom of the Eastern Conference instead. So, yeah, they'll play the game to win, but he also might be Billy Donovan's biggest fan this week. So he might be sending some strategical tips to Billy. Here's how you beat the Pacers. Here's how you beat the Sixers. I think right now the Chicago Bulls have no bigger fan than one Eric Spoelstra.
Butler made the All-Star game. Should he go to the All-Star game? Because he's had so much mileage on him. He's had his share of injuries. He misses his share of time with the Heat. Rest. I would rather him rest, to be quite honest. How do you think he handles the All-Star break?
Well, Big O, again, it's a 7-day break. There's only 2 days of commitment to the All-Star game this year in recent years, Saturday and Sunday. So it's not like he can't get away and have his time. So many guys, as soon as the game's over, leave for the Players Association meeting in the Bahamas. So you'll have your time there, number one. Ego is a big thing. I think it's tough for a star to sit there and watch NBA TV and see these interviews and not be part of it. This means something to Jimmy Butler. And for all those who said, but he's missed 19 games, if ever there's been a season with missed time because of COVID, I think you accept that this is not typical and that missed games don't factor in as much. Jimmy will go. The league a few years ago adopted a policy. You better darn well show you're injured. And if you show you're injured, you might have to sit out the first game after the All-Star break, which for the Heat will be a game in New York. I don't think Jimmy wants to miss a trip to the Garden, so he'll go. Now, that doesn't mean there can't be a real injury or something that comes up in the interim, and I think you'll see a lot of that around the league. Guys sort of protecting themselves. Already, it looks like Kevin Durant will not participate because of his knee. Draymond Green went on TNT last night and said he's not going to be back in time. There will be commissioners' replacements that could open the door for Tyler, and there still is plenty of time to get yourself injured.
I hope he comes up with a phantom injury and he takes it off, because I think it's more important that he ends up resting. That would be actually nicer if he's able to rest. All right, what are you working on there at the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
I'm actually working on my Sunday column. What I spoke about is I think how the East shakes out at the trading deadline will really open the window to where the Heat stand. If Philadelphia, which is only right there with the Miami Heat, one game behind, gets something tangible now for Ben Simmons, I think they vault right up to the top. If you throw a CJ McCollum there, don't think it'll be a Bradley Beal. Jaylen Brown would be awesome. If they add one more talent, they're probably as good as anyone if Joel Embiid can sustain this. Cleveland Cavaliers aren't going anywhere. A perfect name for them, I think, would be Goran Dragic after they lost Colin Sexton and Ricky Rubio was injured. So when you look down the East, Milwaukee, one more player. Do they feel they have to shake it up a little? I think the Heat are going to be sitting there. They play New Orleans on Thursday, day of the deadline, but they'll be seeing what else happens in the East, because the top of the East right now is so close. Big O, I think it's like a game and a half for the top 5 teams, that a little subtle move even could make a big difference. I think the Heat will consider something subtle. They just don't have the tradable contracts. Last year, they had the Olynyk contract in that range. The only contract, this is why we talk about it, is Duncan Robinson.
Right.
So it's a matter of, do you want to tinker with that chemistry right now, or do you want to ride what you have because you've only had Butler, Adebayo, Lowry together for 16 games, those 3 with Hero for 15 games, and just get it right? So I'm going to look at the East. I'm going to look at moves of other teams can make to vault the Heat, but it's going to be a real fight to the finish. I mean, I think we might be looking back and saying, man, if the Heat didn't lose to Detroit, if the Heat didn't have those bad home losses, it might be a lot like last year, except last year they were fighting for seeds 5, 6, 7. This year they could be fighting for a top seed going down, honestly, to the last game of the season in Orlando.
All right, so what's your gut tell you? I know you'll. There's a 99.9% chance you're going to be completely wrong on this, because none of us really know. But what do you think happens with Simmons? Does he stay? And if he gets traded, what's the spot that is doable?
I think he stays because the ego of Daryl Morey, the GM in Philadelphia, is he has to play this to the finish now. That if he said he's going to get, to use Pat Riley's parlance, a whale, he damn well better get a whale, or else why did he wait so long and jeopardize his team in the first place? So, this is what Daryl Morey does. He collects draft choices. He waits for the moment. He makes his big moves. He pounces on players like a Harden or someone like that.
But how does Simmons gain any value as time goes on? That's the part I don't understand. If Simmons was playing and then playing at a high level, then value goes up because you're watching it. But we're talking about a petulant child that's on the sidelines, not playing, not showing you anything. I don't know. How does that gain value?
I think it gains value from this respect, Big O. If a team has such a bad season that they're desperate, in other words, Indiana is underachieving this year. Sacramento has gone in the toilet this year, that at season's end, they might say, we've got to do something. We've got to sort of throw the Hail Mary. We don't know if it's going to work if we trade one of our star players, but we're awful right now. Plus, in the offseason, you know where draft choices are. So Philly might know if something is a lottery pick, a quality lottery pick or not. It's easier to maneuver then. In the offseason, you can carry up to 20 players. You can do a 4-for-1 or 5-for-1 and not have to cut players. It is easier to trade in the offseason. I think that's the way that Daryl Morey is looking at it also. And I would be careful the other way, Big O. When you say that Ben Simmons' value is down in the offseason, I think he's such a unique talent. I think we can both agree on that. I think that's someone you have to work in during an offseason. To bring in someone that unique and going, okay, we have this unbelievable 6'10 defender, a playmaker who can't make a shot from anywhere. Okay, coach, come up with a new game plan and have it ready in 24 hours.
Right.
He's a hard, unique talent to fit in. I think that's what makes the offseason easier.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. More importantly, catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, have a great weekend, my friend. We will catch up on Tuesday.
And I'm going to go buy Eric Spoelstra some winter clothes. Thank you, Big O.
You got it, poor man. God, coach that all-star game. Give him a break. All right, good stuff. There's Ira Winderman in our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty, there we go. We back. We thank Ira Winderman. We are out here at Canesware, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Come on out, man. Join us. Pat in Asheville, a little love on the super chat. He says, chatters, pro tip. If you're chatting to another user, begin with the @ symbol and their username so Sean and O can see through the clutter. Yes. It's a lot of people on the chat board. It is hard for me to go through it and pick questions at times because you guys are going back and forth with each other, so you're not really directing the question to me. You know what I'm saying? So Vernon says, Adam Gase's name has reportedly been popping up in regards to the Patriots' vacant offensive coordinator position. That would be hilarious. By the way, I saw in Pro Football Talk in the morning that Harbaugh to be named Minnesota coach, and then after a couple minutes later, I then see a headline that Harbaugh says the Minnesota thing was a one-time thing. I'm done. I'm staying in the college. So, but they erased that other story.
Yeah.
Did you see it too for a few moments?
I did not see that. I saw a lot going on Twitter that he was going to be the Vikings coach. Then I saw one college guy sit down and said
that website is such a disaster, bro.
Yeah, because I follow most
of
them on Twitter usually.
Shit up in the air.
See what sticks.
And then they hope one of them sticks. It just
we got a 50-50 chance. Either he's going to stay in Michigan or he's going to the NFL.
Yeah, dude.
We'll see which one we have to take down. Just be ready.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wow. It's just that site's a disaster, bro.
It's going to be
site's a disaster.
It's coming down to we got 6 teams still without a coach. We're one of them right now, but I mean,
yeah,
because Jacksonville now.
Yeah, they've got their coach.
I don't know if there's 6 candidates out there. At least
Jim Harbaugh says Vikings interview was a one-time thing. I'm done chasing NFL jobs. So, you know.
That's what you tell your employer, right? I mean, if you're trying to get back,
right? Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again next year. I promise.
Yeah.
I won't do it again until next February.
Yeah. Barney O says, if you like crime, come to Seattle. They love fifth and degradation. I am a Florida born, and I'm here because of commercial fishing. I hate this place and leave as soon as I can. Seattle and Portland are disasters. Disasters. Their governors and their mayors are garbage. Pure garbage. So, yeah. What was that? Yeah, 3 jobs. There's only a couple jobs left. Everybody else has kind of filled their jobs. It's Miami, New Orleans, and what am I missing?
The Finns, Texans, Saints is what somebody put in here.
Texans. That's it. Texans.
But is there other GM jobs open because I could have sworn I saw a number 6 somewhere.
I'm not sure about GMs.
Okay. All right, maybe I don't know.
Not
I
sure
was
about
wrong.
GMs.
I apologize. Three
It's all
times.
good.
Thank you, chat.
It's all good. It's all good. What's it called? What else do we have here? Big O Radio Show. Michigan's Jim Harbaugh says, yes, I know. Yeah, well, I mean, but don't tell the people that keep thinking that Harbaugh was coming here. You know, this is the conspiracy theory time of the world. It's all we do now. If something's not right, well, then let me create a conspiracy theory for it. You know what I mean? Because just because it didn't happen what I wanted, well, then this must be the situation with it. It's the weirdest thing, dude. Okay, let me create my own narrative. By the way, Bitcoin is approaching 40,000. It's at 39,600 right now. It is climbing big time right now. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Some people think there's going to be a little pop and then back down. We'll find out. By the way, thank you all out there for the amazing support once again. Another amazing week. Here. Great support by all of you out there downloading. Please smash the like button while you're at it. Thank you. Barney O says, you ain't lying, O. Our governor took emergency power in the start of COVID. He has not relinquished it. It's terrible. California, Oregon, and Washington have disgusting leadership. But then again, there's disgusting leadership all over our country. Caldwell could still be the OC QBC. Listen, man, I wouldn't mind that. That would be pretty. Can you imagine if Mike McDaniel gets hired, but he also hires Jim Caldwell? That would be really, really cool. Then that would be a double, and then I would feel really good about the whole situation. I would feel like fantastic. I would lose my mind, actually. To be honest with you, as a Dolphins fan, you get me Jim Caldwell to work under Mike McDaniel, and that way Mike has a veteran coach to lean on like that. Oh, God, that would be wow. I would feel so good. I would know that Tua is going to be a successful quarterback, and more importantly, the Dolphins are going to be successful, and they're going to, settle in. That would be awesome. They can even overcome the owner. It's hard to overcome that owner, but they can try. David says, I took your advice regarding how to get into hockey more seriously, so I'm going to try my first Panther game on March 31st versus the Blackhawks. Going to be in town for a John Mayer concert on April 2nd. Wow, that's a hell of a weekend for you, dude. John Mayer jams. So you see the Panthers and John Mayer. Good for you, David. Good for you, man. That's strong. I like that. Let's see. Glad to see CBS this morning had all the teams represented on to defend the allegations. # not. Al Jim, I think, or something like that says, I've been wanting a physical football team for years. Offense and defense. Amen to that. Would be nice, man. Would be nice. Mr. Spock says, so the guy under Bieniemy gets a job promotion as Giants OC. I guess this is a problem that Flores talks about. Yep. Either that or Bieniemy is a terrible interviewer. Right? Because, it's not like other minorities aren't getting chances. Some do. But Bieniemy has interviewed 8,000 times and gets nowhere. It's really weird, man. Let me tell you something. And if Bieniemy ever does get the chance finally and he kicks ass, wow, does that make people look bad? But none of us know because we're not there. We don't know, because it could be that he's not a good interview. Or it could be that there's something we don't know about. Or it could be that he's just black. I don't know. Any of them is possible. What are you going to say?
No, did you get the super chat for Joe Tesori?
Oh, no, I did not, I guess. I must have missed it. Let me see. Pat in Asheville. Jose Lucas. No, I don't see anything for Tesori. Say it. Tell me what it says there.
Yeah, Joe Tesori. Hey, Big O, how do you feel our nucleus group of good players will respond to this mess for the 2023 season? Wilkins, Waddle, Baker, etc.
Oh, I think they'll play hard like they always do, dude. See, that Joe, this is where I think we insult players too much when we say, oh, they played hard for the coach. No, dude, they play hard for themselves. They play hard for their contracts. They play hard because they're professionals. They play hard because they have pride in what they do, like you, like most of you. Of course, we all have lazy people in every walk of life, in every business. Whether you're a group of gardeners and you're all gardening an entire complex, one of your gardeners is a lazy dude, right? That's just the way it is. I worked at radio stations in a building, and I saw several people that I knew had no business being in the building with us. But somehow or another, they're employed. You know what I mean? And they're not really wieners. They're losers. So, this happens in life. You have people that are slackers. But overall, most NFL players are just like you and me. Like most of the people in your business at Alamo Rent-A-Car. Most everybody at Alamo Rent-A-Car is working their asses off. Couple slackers. And that's what I hate, that we always say, oh, these players played hard for this coach. No, dude. Most of these players played hard because that's what they do. Because they're just as professional as you are in your law practice. They're just as professional as you are as an officer, as a teacher, as a chef, as a producer. And I hate that we always, just because the team is playing hard, we always give the coach credit. And we never actually think that, you know what? Most of those people are probably just good employees. Like most of us. That we go to work and we work our asses off and we do our jobs. So that's where I kind of, differ on that. And I think most players are going to go in and they're going to play hard. Now, they may know something more than we do about the game plan, whether it'll work or not or whatever, but that's not going to stop them from actually trying to win. They are competitive people, man. Incredibly competitive. They don't want to be embarrassed. Very few of those guys want to lose, be embarrassed, come up short on anything. They take a lot of pride in what they do. And I feel like we never give most NFL players the credit that they deserve for being true professionals. We just assume that it's the coach that has to pull all the strings. And that's just, I find that to be wrong on every level. Let's see. How fitting would it be for either the Dolphins to hire the only minority coach in the cycle with dip crap drags us through the mud? Well, you're right, because Mike McDaniel is from a biracial family. So I understand. But here's the thing, Carlos, on the whole race thing, it had nothing to do with Miami. I mean, dude, anybody with a brain, Miami is super diverse. So now you want to blame, if the owner really offered $100K, then, hey, man, Stephen Ross will pay the price for that. If he really did that, his ass needs to go. Okay? Now, he came out and, let's let's talk a little bit about Stephen Ross. So Stephen Ross comes out with a statement on the accusations from Brian Flores, right? And so he addressed it with some serious fire, right? I didn't really get too much into it yesterday, but we should talk a little bit about it today because it came in and I actually forgot to kind of get into it. So the Flores lawsuit obviously stirred crap up in a big time way, and so Stephen Ross got I would say a little pissed off. Right, would be safe to say is the way you would phrase it. At least he came off like, okay, no, wait a minute, dude. We're not gonna have any of this. That's kind of the way he came off. Like, no. This lawsuit here is a bunch of crap. I'm trying to pull up the comments here for you, but my damn computer is slow as hell here in trying to pull this up. I don't know why the hell it is. Damn it. Oh man. Let me see if we have it here. All right, here we go. All right. With regards to the allegations being made by Brian Flores, I am a man of honor and integrity and cannot let them stand without responding, Ross said in a statement. I take great personal exception to these malicious attacks, and the truth must be known. His allegations are false, malicious, and defamatory. And I understand his point, but the problem is Stephen Ross is the guy that went to go recruit Jim Harbaugh in the middle of the night with Tony Sparano in place. So, unfortunately, like I will tell you, Flo can't tell me and stand on a high horse that he has integrity and he wasn't going to take $100K for losses. And yet you worked for Bill Belichick, who's taping teams, stealing signals, interfering with radios from opposing teams in his home stadium. So you worked for a guy for a decade and a half that has no scruples and is, notorious for cheating and known for it. Okay? Yeah, he's the GOAT. He's got all the titles and all that. But Belichick also carries another, distinction. And Flores worked for this guy for years. So, you can't tell me you're stand-up. And Ross can't tell me, with regards to the allegations being made, I'm a man of honor and integrity. A man of honor and integrity fires Tony Sparano, then goes to go talk to Jim Harbaugh. You don't go talk to Jim Harbaugh with Tony Sparano in place. That's disgusting. That's not integrity. So all of this, and I get it, that they're going to stand by these reports, and we'll see what the question will be, what kind of proof does Flores really have? Because if he has tangible proof, that is going to be that's how the pendulum is going to seriously swing. This is how you will bring the NFL to its knees. It's going to be really hard for Flo to change any of the hiring practices. Seriously. I know it goes on. We all know it's a terrible problem. Flo is probably the worst example to use for it, but we know it's a terrible problem. But he's going to need some physical evidence if he wants to really bring the NFL to its knees. If he has no evidence, the good old boys club will continue to do what they've been doing for 100 years. Our number 2 is next. Cameron Wolf will join us with our Fort Lauderdale Police Department, Miami Dolphins, and NFL report.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Sloman's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
South Florida's premier law enforcement agency is now hiring individuals like you. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is now accepting applications for non-certified and certified police officer positions. Minimum requirements and qualifications can be found at flpdjobs.com. That's flpdjobs.com. Are you ready? The city of Fort Lauderdale is an equal opportunity employer. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Sports Grill. Good food, good drinks, good friends. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealership in the Southeast United States. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department. The FLPD is hiring. Go to flpdjobs.com.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and Miami Dolphins with our Fort Lauderdale Police Department Pro Football Report with insider Cameron Wolf. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is an equal opportunity employer. The department is now hiring uncertified and certified police officers. Go to flpdjobs.com. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right, we are back. Damn, you got me by surprise here, bro. I'm here checking my texts and stuff. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Cam, you are you home or are you on the road?
No, I'm still in Vegas here for the Pro Bowl, so still on the road.
Okay, all right. That's kind of a funky hotel room there. All right, nice job by you. Like 4 rooms there or something? 3 bathrooms?
That's the bathroom back here. This is like a separate room from the bedroom. My wife's joining me, so she's in another room sleep. So try not to wake her up.
Okay, all right. So no yelling. Can I yell?
You can yell.
Okay, all right. All good. All right, Cam. So obviously, we're gonna have this mess hovering over us for years to come, because that's probably what's going to end up happening with all of this. Walk us through with what you've heard so far. After all the responses from the owner and Flo, now everybody's responded. John Elway's responded. Where does the NFL go from here?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of lawyers. This seems like a big legal situation more than anything. I mean, you guys have seen, and I've reported some of it over the last 3 or 4 days. 2 sides are really dug their heels in. You know, Ross and the Dolphins have now put their statement out, multiple statements denying it. Flores is sticking with his story, saying this is what it is. I have the evidence to back it up, and it's going to go to, I think you mentioned it coming in, what can be proved in court and what's determined enough to win a case. So I think these are serious allegations that the NFL is looking into. They're going to launch an investigation. I think there's already been initial court date set. So that's really the starting point of the Steve Ross Dolphins part of the lawsuit. As we've talked about earlier this week, there's multiple layers. There's the Broncos side of it. There's a Giants side. There's the NFL with the racial discrimination. But obviously the most eye-popping thing that everybody's been jumping on is the Stephen Ross and the 100K game. So I think that right now, both sides have put out their strong denials. There doesn't seem to be anybody determined to settle at this point. So like you said, I think we're going to be in this thing for a while.
When you hear that the NFL is going to investigate, what does that mean?
I believe they're going to do a lot of looking into the evidence. They're going to talk to Flores' side and his team about what they have, what they're saying beyond just the lawsuit. You know, what does the evidence look like? And then they're going to talk to probably the Dolphins and Stephen Ross.
Let me stop you right there a second, because I was thinking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Will they share evidence with the NFL, because the NFL works for the owners?
Right.
And so I'm wondering, can the NFL proceed with their investigation, because they have no power to, as you know, they have no power of attorney. They have no power in anything to force witnesses to talk or anything like that, because they're not the law. And they've had that issue in the past in other investigations. Why would Flores and his camp share any evidence that they have? Because then that would then possibly give the owners an edge, because you're sharing evidence against the people you're taking to court.
Well, first of all, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all the legal parameters of this, but I think there probably will be the NFL investigation, but also if it rises high enough, then maybe that's when the legal stuff comes in as well. So I think it just depends on which one hits first. If it's the NFL case, then yeah, you're right. There has to be some conversation on what do we have to withhold to win our legal case. So
Right.
ultimately, the burden of proof, from what I understand, is on Flores and his team to prove it. So although, they've made the allegations, Steve Ross and his team and the Broncos and the Giants and the NFL, they don't have to prove that they didn't do it. They just have to, Flores and his team have to prove that they did do it. So the burden of proof's on him. The evidence has to be on him. And that's really the next step. So there may be some strategy. Maybe the lawyers and his team come out and say, hey, we withhold some stuff. And maybe that makes it a longer process. But eventually, if he wants to win the case, some people are going to have to come out on his behalf and testify, whether in statements or in court, and there has to be that proof come out. So that timeline probably depends on, excuse me, which investigation comes first. But what I understand is, like I said, the burden on the proof is on Flores and his team.
All right, let's move away from that. Let's get to some of the football stuff. All right, so here's how I'm kind of reading this thing now. I've been saying for a couple weeks that Dabo was 1, Mike McDaniel was 2. So now I keep looking at the landscape right now. And I was worried that with this whole mess, would it scare off McDaniel? Well, right now I'm not hearing McDaniel's name really tied to any other team. He is interviewing today already with the Miami Dolphins. I'm really liking actually the combination of the current defensive staff, something you reported first, that the idea was to keep this current defensive staff. So I like the fact that Mike would not have to worry so much heavily about the defense. There's continuity in place right there, and he can then assess things down the line a year from now if he wants to tweak things. So I kind of like all of this. Are you hearing that there is anything that could deter this from happening? That the mess that we have behind the scenes could affect Mike McDaniel's position? But right now, I'm not. It's almost sounding like, these two are going to walk down the aisle pretty soon. So tell me what you're hearing with Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, look, Big O, I haven't heard anything that this legal situation is going to dissuade any candidates from coming here. Obviously, it lingers over the Dolphins and lingers over Steve Ross, but there's only one of 32 of these gigs. And a lot of times what's going on legally with the ownership really doesn't have anything to do with the head coach until it rises to a level where, hey, we got to determine what's next with his owner. So McDaniel's going to interview this afternoon, from what I understand. Kellen Moore, as it's been reported, will be Saturday. Yeah. And I know you're not a big Kellen Moore fan, but I believe that they'll
does nothing
closing in on making a decision. So
you got to admit, he has no swag, he has no sexiness, nothing. McDaniel has swag, has some sexiness to it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I'm the Jim Caldwell guy, so I'm not getting what I want, but I can lean with the McDaniel one. I kind of like the guy. The Kellen Moore one. Oh my God, that's like having a cigar store mannequin on the sidelines coaching your team. Seriously, I mean, there's not much of a difference between a cigar store mannequin and Kellen Moore.
Well, big thing for me is, and I've talked to you about this before, like clearly they decided to make an offensive hire.
Yeah,
and I'm a big, you hire the best coach rather than a side of the ball, but clearly they've chosen to take this path. Whether this guy, Mike McDaniel or Kellen Moore, is a schemer or not, that's secondary to me. I want to know, can you lead teams? Can you have relationships with players? The collaborate words that the Dolphins were throwing out, all of the elements of being a CEO head coach are the things that I want to know. And I don't know enough about either candidate to say if either of them are that, but that would be the one question, one concern I would have. And Kellen Moore, I mean, he's a guy who is not too far from his playing career. So you can see a lot of these guys fast tracked, which is another story. We talked about Brian Flores, some of his argument about the racial deal is that maybe there's not as many black coaches who were fast tracked the way that Kellen Moore
There's no doubt about that.
or Mike McDaniel. So I think that Mike McDaniel actually spoke to someone yesterday about him, and everything I hear about him is smart. He's a great schemer. He's a guy who was with Kyle Shanahan the longest of all of his assistants. And I believe Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach, was asked about him yesterday down at the Senior Bowl, and he essentially said, "I hope he's not in my division." So that's a guy who's coached with him on the staff, and he thinks that he's going to be somebody who is a good challenge to go against. So, from what I understand, Mike McDaniel's the favorite here, and if I had to put money down on anything, it would be Mike McDaniel being the next Dolphins head coach within the next 3 or 4 days.
I hope so, man. I hope so. How active do you think they'll be in free agency?
I think they'll be fairly active. They have a good bit of money. I think the number depends on what they do with a few contracts. I know you've been trying to get rid of one big one, but I think that they're gonna have like 70-75 million dollars at least in salary cap space, and they know they have holes. I'd look at the offensive line as the big thing in free agency for them to correct. Wouldn't surprise me if they went after multiple starters in that position group. So I don't know if you're going to have the splashy names, like a receiver or, some of the skill guys, but I think you'll see them really try to fortify those trenches with, really solid veterans. They've gone the young route with a lot of that offensive line. We've talked about it, and maybe some of those guys can still develop, but I think they know they need veterans in that group to really get better on the offensive side of the ball. And they need a running back too, whether that comes in the draft or free agency. So those are things I'd look at for this team.
They'll get that running back this year. You can bet your ass on that.
It's way overdue. Trust me.
The New England dude is gone about, hey, no, we don't need to get a high pick and a running back. First 3 rounds, watch. They will have a running back.
I'm hopeful. But I'll tell you this, Big O.
Unless they can get like a Leonard Fournette or something in free agency, because Tampa is going to. Oh, dude, they're going to be leaving Tampa like, I don't know, like people are leaving New York right now. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be scattering all over. I'm personally hoping that the Dolphins go after Ryan Jensen, the center for Tampa.
That would be a really good sign. Physical dude, a little nasty. I like my offensive lineman a little nasty.
Well, not only that, for Tua, you need to have a great middle of the line. You have to give him a strong pocket so he can do his thing. And if you do that, I think you'll be fine. And it starts with Ryan Jensen. You get Ryan Jensen, I think Hunt becomes better. And then all of a sudden now you can start to work on that left guard, maybe Dieter challenges, or maybe you end up signing somebody else, which, by the way, they also have Kappa, Alex Kappa, their guard is available too with Tampa Bay. So you could, if you want, you can take 2 guys away from them and start Kappa and Jensen, Kappa at left guard, Jensen at center, and Hunt at right guard. And dude, you are solid in that pocket all of a sudden.
And I know you mentioned that obviously there's a Patriot coach who's gone, but if you wanted to go and get a big right tackle, Trent Brown from New England's available. Put him at right tackle. He's a big guy who can,
because I think Eichenberg has a future. I believe I still think some of these guys have a future. I just think you need an O-line coach to come in, instill the confidence again in these guys, teach them, because you can, dude, these guys are not that dumb. O-linemen usually are the smarter guys on the team. They were constantly getting fooled on stunts. Like there's no way you can get that fooled that many times on stunts. So you need the right O-line coach that can see all this kind of stuff and teach these guys how to find all this stuff before it happens. And then, because that's really what it's all about. Cam, I think in life, when you get beaten down and there's no confidence and there's nothing being instilled in you, it's only human nature to sometimes lose confidence in yourself. And I think that that's what's happened a lot to the established running backs that were here and the old linemen. Like Duke Johnson was fresh. He wasn't here for 2 years, taking a constant beating and running into lines with no holes.
Right.
That would then emotionally just bring you down when you're constantly doing that. And I think that this offense ran into a lot of those issues for the linemen and the running backs, that there wasn't a lot of confidence in what was being taught and what was happening. And I think that's the part that needs to change. And when that changes, I think some of these men you will see play differently and play better because the confidence is there on the field and in the classroom.
You're absolutely right, Big O, especially with that offensive line coach. I think that's probably the most important hire, whoever ends up at the OC, especially if it's Mike McDaniel. That hire is, and especially he likes to run a lot of that RPO system, that zone scheme. I'm assuming that Kyle Shanahan, he's going to bring that over. So you need that offensive line to excel, and you need to teach your offensive linemen. So, I know there's some really good offensive line coaches out there. Mike Munchak just became available. He'd be a guy that would be really interesting
Great
to bring
offensive
in.
line coach.
So I think they should prioritize and spend a lot of money if they need to on that O-line coach. That might even be more important than the offensive coordinator, because you're going to have one of those guys most likely calling plays. So O-line coach more than anything is going to be the hire that I'm watching after the head coach hire.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. And, of course, catch him twice a week here with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, Miami Dolphins, and NFL Report. Cam, thank you as always, my brother. Appreciate you taking some time. We will catch up next week, my friend.
Appreciate you, Big O. Y'all have a good one.
There you go. Be good. There you go. Cameron Wolf, man. Good stuff as always with our Fort Lauderdale Police Department, Miami Dolphins Report.
This has been the Fort Lauderdale Police Department Pro Football Report with insider Cameron Wolf. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department is an equal opportunity employer. The department is now hiring uncertified and certified police officers. Go to flpdjobs.com.
All right. We are back. Appreciate it. All right. Cameron Wolf is smart. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That's why he joined us here, because he's smart. Jim McEwen says, McDaniel knows what great O-line coaching looks like. How does a defensive coach go through 4 O-line coaches? The offensive coaches are better at letting defensive minds do their thing. Let's see. What else do we have? Big O Radio Show. Can we safely assume that the question, who would you bring in as part of your staff, is part of the interview process? That's always part of the process, my brother. Always. Unlike other people, Big O talks to Cam, knows football. Okay. I don't know what that means, Eric Storm, but we will talk to Omar Kelly next at the bottom of the hour. And we will talk to Alan Poupar also throughout the week. And we will talk to who else do we have here? Who else am I missing? Marcel. Louis Jacques.
Yep.
And anybody else? They all know football.
Said Omar, right?
I said Omar. Poupar.
Chad.
Joe Shad. There we go. They all know football. That's why they're here. Okay? That's why they're here. That's why I specifically called these gentlemen. Barney wants to remind me that he poops hard every day, I guess. Oh, no. I think he's talking about poop hard, and he's just putting poop hard. I see. Barney just wants to show us his 5-year-old humor. I got you, Barney. Would you like a Slurpee with that, Barney? South Florida Don says, Big O, when you get a chance, watch Reasons PC from last night. He had 2 attorneys on that really were informative about Flo's lawsuit. Okay. I will check it out. That lawsuit's going to drag on forever, bro. Forever. Clarence Collins, thank you, sir, for a little love on the super chat. He says, Big O, we have to have a better QB play. Burrow, Herbert lines are not that much better. All right, Clarence, whatever you want to say, my brother. Okay. I think the quarterback play will be just fine. You just got to get a line. Herbert had enough to get to the playoffs, my brother. Why didn't he get to the playoffs? He had a chance to cut the Houston lead to 1 score, and he threw a pick 6. Has nothing to do with the lines. Okay? Put it this way. If Tua has San Diego's or Los Angeles teams, they're probably in the playoffs. Okay? So you guys can knock whatever you want and all that. All right? New Orleans is in the playoffs if they have Tua. Yeah, all I'm asking for is give Tua what Kirk Cousins has, what Ryan Tannehill has, what Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill have. Even what Herbert has. Give him Herbert's weapons and running game and offensive line. Herbert's left tackle alone is better than Miami's entire offensive line. Give them that, and they'd be in the playoffs. So, Clarence, appreciate the super chat, but you and I are going to disagree absolutely in every which way and form when it comes to Tua. Yes.
Everybody looks at the sack number and goes, "Oh, that line was terrible." It just their quarterback wasn't mobile.
Right.
That's the. I mean,
Tua actually
there are run.
Tua's great at avoiding sacks.
There are run plays where Tua's getting pressured.
Right. Handing off.
He was getting tackled.
Yeah. Handing off. Right.
And everybody looks at that sack number and says, "Oh, that's a terrible offensive line."
Yeah, and by the way, for all of you that defend Herbert, if he's so good, he should have gotten in the playoffs. If he's so good. He won the same amount of games that Tua won. And Tua has lesser talent. Way less talent on offense. They have a running game. Miami doesn't have a running game. They have receivers. Miami has one. I mean, give me a break, dude. I love this Herbert love affair. The guy won the same amount of games with more talent than Tua. So what's there to brag? Oh, stats? What do the stats mean, Clarence, when you don't get in the playoffs? I don't care about stats. I care about building the best team possible. What you don't do is build a team and waste it on Ryan Tannehill. What you don't do is build a team and waste it on Kirk Cousins. You don't build a team and waste it on Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. That's the problem. Pat in Asheville. Thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. NFL should require every head coach have a minority coach intern who is the coach's hip pocket learning every single day. Intern could switch teams each year to learn even more. I don't like that, Pat in Asheville, because now we're making the black man or Hispanic or Asian or whatever the intern. All men are created equal. It's in our Constitution. Let's treat everybody the same way. Let's do that instead. That's what we've got to do. You know, if you're going to elevate John Lynch from the television booth, then you should do it with the guy from ESPN2. What's his name? Louis Riddick. Right? Why aren't you doing it with Louis Riddick? He's a great soundbite. Good-looking dude. Carries himself exceptionally well. Is a way better broadcaster, actually, than John Lynch ever was. So why aren't you taking the shot with the black man that is also actually has more experience than John Lynch, actually. That's the funny part. You know, I shouldn't say they're both from the booth because he actually worked in the personnel department. So they both played, but he actually worked in personnel, and he doesn't get a shot straight from the booth, but you'll do it with John Lynch. So there's a huge problem, but we can't treat them like we can't treat minorities where we're going to say, well, they'll be the interns. And then also you're forcing the issue. No, this needs to come naturally. What you need is diversity in your ownership. That's why the NBA is the NBA, because they have diversity all over the damn place. So if you're diverse everywhere, you will understand gays, women and blacks, or minorities, let's just say. Blacks, Hispanics, Asians, you name it. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot easier in the NBA. You know why? There's a lot more people that actually resemble our country. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. My mistake. The NBA resembles the world. They don't just resemble your city. They resemble the world. So that's why you see one league They don't need to hire a black coach and make him an intern. No, they hire the coach and they make him the coach. And they make him the general manager, and he's the owner. And that's the difference. That the colors and the faces and all that are different in the NBA. And then that's why the hiring practices will change, because there are people that can relate to other people. In the NFL, it's 32 old white owners. I'm sorry, 31, and Shad Khan. 31 old white owners and Khan! For you Star Trek people. That's Star Trek, Omar. Okay, that reference, Omar, since you're on hold, Khan is a Star Trek reference. Okay, we got Omar Kelly coming up, and you know that we love Omar, but he does struggle with, pop culture references. All right. By the way, Corn Iowa Productions, thank you for the love on the super chat. If Mike just hits it out of the park today, do the Dolphins just hand him a contract and forget the Moore interview? It sounds to me like they're going to go through the Moore interview, then hire Mike McDaniel. That's what I think is going to end up happening. Clarence Collins says, I like Tua, but he has to play better. Yeah, of course. But give him a better team and he'll play better. All right. We're done with that. Omar Kelly is next. For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
By the way, before I start with Omar, because I know that there's a ton of text here and it'll disappear and I'll forget. But Carlos Calle, he says basketball is more of an international sport than football, but Big O is right. Now, Carlos, I understand what you're saying, but basketball was invented by an American. It's an American sport that has become international. So let's give the NBA their due, because they do accommodate everybody. Blacks, Hispanics, Europeans, Asians, women. They're the owners are the ones that then grew the WNBA. The owners are the ones that accept gay players. The owners are the ones that we have black owners in the NBA. We have minority owners all throughout the NBA. The NBA, while it's international, it was created by Americans, and let's give the league the due that they deserve, because they are willing to resemble the world, whereas the NFL refuses to resemble society, and that's the difference. So while, yes, it is international, but let's give us some credit. It was, Americans that invented it, and it's Americans that have adjusted the game to the way it is. The culture is led by black athletes, so you see a lot of black coaches and general managers and people in power positions and things like that. So let's give the NBA the credit that they deserve, because they make the effort that the NFL fails. Okay, all right, let's start it off. Sorry, Omar, but I saw that, but I had to get that out because I got to give the NBA the love that they deserve, because they make a true effort to actually create equality. And that's something that, unfortunately does not exist in the sport you cover.
I was just looking up as you spoke about how many minority owners there are in the NFL. and there are 4 majority owners that are minorities, and 4 women that are in team ownership positions. And while I think that that's definitely better than the NFL, I'm not necessarily certain that that's the reason why their league is diverse or more.
Well,
accepting.
they're coaching all over the place, and
No, I think it's because it's a player-driven league, which the NFL has been fighting against for 2 decades. Their fear in the NFL, their worst fear, is to become a player-driven league.
Everything should be player-driven.
Yeah, the NFL doesn't want that to happen.
Well, but that's why that plantation label lives.
You're absolutely right, and that's the reason why they don't want
the owners in the NBA. They partner with their players. They want to be together with their players. Like LeBron James is working with the NBA. You know,
I don't necessarily think the NBA is owners are comfortable viewing themselves as partners with the players, but we're 2 decades into being a player-driven league. I mean, that league is run by LeBron James, the Chris Pauls of the world.
And Michael Jordan before that, and Magic Johnson and Bird before that.
And understand that's a cultural thing that's 2 decades old, whereas the NFL is vehemently fighting against it and has vehemently fought against it. You know, I make the point
NBA players are becoming part owners, and they're more than welcomed to become part owners. Where's the NFL doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that is Steve Ross did it when he let the Williams sisters buy it.
Yeah, but that was the fluff. That's fluff stuff.
Yeah. I'm just
that's not real. That's not real. Like, that's not Dwayne Wade. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz didn't bring in Dwayne Wade as a fluff thing. No. They brought him in because they believe in him, or Magic Johnson, or whoever the NBA brings in. They're bringing it in because it's legit. They want them to help them get better. That's kind of the idea.
They have labored and worked so hard in the NFL to maintain their old boys network and keep the strength of the old boys network and keep the strength of the old boys running these organizations. And even though they've never played football, they're still running a football organization. And, even though, now it's analytics is the old boys network is gaining strength from an analytics standpoint. So it's, but for many reasons, they don't want to be like the NBA. But I keep always saying the same thing, and people don't give Kirk Cousins the credit that he deserves for being the first and only player in NFL history that received a fully guaranteed contract as a free agent.
Well, I give him credit for gun and a mask use. Yeah, that's no gun, no mask.
But that was such a monumental, and unfortunately nobody has followed it since. But that was such a monumental move, because what people don't understand is in the NBA, it's not written into their CBA agreements that contracts are guaranteed. It just became the culture of that league to the point where any contract that wasn't guaranteed was not acceptable. And it has to do the same thing in the NFL. That it's the same thing in Major League Baseball. It's not the culture. It's not in the contracts. It's just the culture of that league. And the NBA has to get to that point. And we know, because of the nature of injuries and the short careers, that they'll fight tooth and nail to not allow it. And I think the new CBA deal probably took a step back from it. But you got to slowly knock down, slowly chip away at that rock to create the sculpture that you want. And, since Kirk Cousins did it, nobody has followed and chipped away at it. You telling me.
And that's really weird, because better players have gotten contracts and they don't get the same guarantees.
Really weird, dude. But it's just a mindset and a culture thing. You telling me that Patrick Mahomes could not have gotten a fully guaranteed contract?
Right.
Russell Wilson came up next after Kirk Cousins, and he didn't get a fully guaranteed contract.
Right.
He could have. He should have. But it has to be.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't get a fully guaranteed contract. Tom Brady doesn't get a fully Nobody's getting a fully guaranteed.
If Tom Brady was coming up, was leaving New England and said, "Let me get a fully guaranteed contract," You don't think somebody would have lined up, or every team would have lined up to offer him? I wish you would have met Flores on the yacht, had that conversation. Get the deal done. That to me, of everything, of every possible thing that's out there about the Brian Flores situation.
Yeah.
That to me, when I read the lawsuit, civil suit, two times, all 58 pages, that to me stood out there as the one thing that did not make any sense. And I said to myself, this is wrong. I'm sorry, you tamper every year with all of your free agents. So now,
I mean, listen, Omar. Okay, the funny part about this lawsuit, and on both sides,
nothing funny about
it. Here's Steven. No, this is the part that's funny. This integrity stuff is being thrown out there. Okay, so the owner's the guy that went to go look at Jim Harbaugh in the middle of the night with Sperano in place. There's no integrity or honor there. So please don't tell me you're Mr. Integrity and Honor. And Flo, well, dude, if they offered you $100K and you had the integrity now, why didn't you do it 3 years ago at that moment? Or, by the way, you worked for 15 years with the guy that was recording teams, stealing signals, messing with their, radios. So you have been working for a serial cheater for 15 years. So integrity is out the window for both guys. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what I find hilarious about all of this. Whether it's the NFL, whether it's Stephen Ross, or whether it's Brian Flores, who was insulting and embarrassing Kenny Stills in front of his teammates. Please, dude, don't give me the integrity crap, because the league, the owners, or even the coach, none of you have any integrity. You're all sullied and you're all dirty in this league.
It's funny that you bring up the Kenny Stills Jay-Z gate. And I remember that day so vividly. And I remember going into the locker room, and it was so clear as day, when the locker room is blasting Nas as a response to, 2 hours after practicing on the field, I come into the locker room and they're blasting Nas. In response to Flores playing Jay-Z for the entire practice to troll Kenny Stills. And that was probably the moment that I said, something's wrong with this guy, because it was so passive aggressive. And if you got to know Brian Flores, you knew that, you realized, and anybody who covered him, anybody who dealt with him, you realized he was passive aggressive unnecessarily. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. But that was the epitome and the personification of who he was. It was just a very unnecessary passive aggressive dig.
Right.
Just to send.
For me, it's just like, this whole thing is, I mean, for his sake, he better have serious proof. You know what I mean? Because he's going to look really, really bad if he doesn't have serious proof. Now, as I said yesterday, the NFL is going to want to make this Area 51. They're going to want to make this OJ. They're going to want to make this Barry Bonds.
I'm not getting the reference.
Yeah, you're not getting it. I know. I'm kind of used to that with you. They're going to try to make doubt, where Ben Roethlisberger did it. You figure, but he got away with it. So there's that doubt. You know what I mean? And that's what I think the NFL is going to do with all of this. That if he doesn't have the hardcore proof, and it's more of a he said,
you don't know. They don't know what he has. But here's the thing. Exactly. And here's the thing that I've been talking to people in.
And by the way, Area 51 is that area that over in Arizona that
people want to know. Yeah,
we had all the UFOs there. Again, I got to worry about you with pop culture, but go ahead.
I didn't get the OJ reference though.
The glove doesn't fit, must have quit. The doubt.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That in all these situations, there's some. Did Barry Bonds juice or not? I know his head got bigger than a hot air balloon, but was he juicing or not, or whatever? Because there's not like that physical proof. You know what I'm saying? But there's that other proof. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I think this case is going to. It's going to stay in the abyss of we really don't know, but we kind of do.
There are so many now that the smoke is cleared and legal people have had 24 to 48 hours to analyze the class action lawsuit. People who actually have law degrees and expertise in class action lawsuit. And some people that I've talked to kind of brought this up. Like, while it's packaged and pretty and details the racial history of the league, and that's important, and that's necessary when you're talking about a class action lawsuit.
Sure.
The Brian Flores aspect of it is
zero proof,
filled with speculation.
Yeah, I know.
And so
I was actually I was with two lawyers yesterday, and they were explaining that there's on that side of it, he's got nothing. He's not going to budge anything there.
Yeah. So Flores basically just beat them to death in the court of public opinion on the second day that it was out. And then lo and behold, and you got to understand how the NFL works. Lo and behold, after their lawyers, their team of lawyers and the billionaires' teams of lawyers. So we're talking about probably 50 of America's greatest legal minds have looked through this civil case and lawsuit and probably presented it to judges who sit on different seats that they know and people who they owe favors to. And they probably looked at it and then they concluded, yeah, this is kind of toothless. And then you started to see Dolphins coming out. I vehemently deny these claims. It's bogus. It's bullshit. The Giants coming out. How dare you defame me, destroy my reputation, challenge me? You see the Denver Broncos coming out. John Elway.
I'm no drunk.
I'm no. Yeah, hey. And because you've been at the Senior Bowl.
By the way, in John Elway's defense, he's the human Sharpay. He always looks disheveled. I mean, if you've seen John Elway up close, you're like, whoa. It's not the prettiest sight in the world. I'm just saying.
Listen.
As he gets older, that face gets more mangled, and
and he always, and that's the thing. I say this, and I'm going to put it allegedly in front of this. I haven't seen John Elway in Mobile or Indy and not thought, hey, this guy probably had one too many drinks. It doesn't matter what time of day it is.
Yes.
It doesn't. So
1,000%.
So to Brian Flores' claims that, hey, he came in inebriated, like, you don't know that because that's kind of how he carries himself. I don't know why, but so
it's the truth. It's the truth.
I mean, and I can say this to you because I know you've been there. I know you've seen it.
No, I've seen it. I know. He's the human Sharpay. I'm telling you.
It's so.
By the way, do you know what a Sharpay dog is?
No. I knew it was a dog, but I don't know the significance of the Sharpay.
There's a dog that's all wrinkles. You've never seen those dogs? They're kind of cute.
Yeah,
but
okay, but I don't think.
Well, when you get a chance on your phone, put Sharpay dog, and it's SHARPEI.
I know what he looks like, but I don't get the connection. He's not all wrinkled. He's just
his face is all like, yeah, it's a Sharpay. He's the human Sharpay.
We get older, we change. I don't think
not like him. No, not like him. You don't have like layers of skin bending over and no. It's different. It's different. He has that Nick Nolte type thing going that is just really, whoa, wow, yo, dude, relax. That kind of deal. So yeah. I'm telling you, John Elway's the human Sharpay.
I mean, his face it's just.
You now know when you meet Omar Kelly out in the street, don't use a lot of references with him, okay? Because you'll keep.
I knew.
There you go. There's a Sharpay for you right there. See, Sean Stanley bringing it right up. That right there is John Elway. Right there. Look at John Elway. Folks, meet John Elway. And I'm sure that Flores walked into the office and said, "Oh, shit. Wow, you've been drinking?" "No, dude, this is just me, bro. I'm John Elway."
But what does the wrinkles have to do with the drinking? I just don't get that. I don't. Anyway, it's. You're saying it's his face. I'm saying it's his demeanor. It's his actions.
Right there, that was John Elway's picture in 1994. So, can you imagine what he looks like now in 2022? I mean,
bro,
that's pretty bad.
I mean, they age. You know that.
Yeah.
They age.
He ages, but he ages in dog years. That's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the difference.
So my point is now that and then yesterday.
Go ahead. We lost you.
Might call me, and I hate that happens. I'm back. Yes.
Okay, you're back. Yes.
Yesterday, somebody called me, and they made a point. We were discussing a number of things, and they made a point because they have coaches, and they do coaches contracts, and they're pretty standard. And basically, any kind of dispute that you have with a coach with an NFL coach in the NFL, it has to go to arbitration. It says it in the contract. Has to go to arbitration. Now, Pro Football Talk has highlighted that, put something up. So basically, any court has to throw it out and say, "Hey, you got to go to arbitration." On top.
By the way, Pro Football Talk had Harbaugh taking the Minnesota job just a couple of hours ago. But let's go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A couple hours ago or yesterday?
No, just a couple hours ago, they had him taking the Minnesota job, and then they took it right down, and then they said, "Oh, no, he says now that Minnesota was just a one-time thing, and he's going back to college permanently."
That was yesterday.
No, I just saw it a couple of hours ago. He had it back up again. I mean, it's crazy.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Let me get focused again. But also, the Dolphins owe Brian Flores, I believe, $10 million for the final 2 years of his contract.
Cha-ching.
And technically, because he made these allegations a bit about Steve Ross, Dolphins could void it and not have to pay him.
Ooh.
I have to see the contract and ask after, but there's all kinds of language in the contracts that.
Well, Al Davis would reach from the grave to make sure he doesn't pay him if he was a Raider. That's for sure. I mean, Al Davis is so notoriously cheap for anything. He'd use any excuse not to pay a coach.
Yeah.
Al Davis would have sued Brian Flores right away for money already paid. Not only would he have not paid him the 2 years left, he would actually say, "Give me back the 3 I gave you already." That would have been. He's lucky. I wonder, but Stephen Ross probably won't take that path.
No. But more importantly, I mean, and I say all this to say, now you see, while what Brian Flores did was noble, and I think he will probably go down in history as the Colin Kaepernick of the coaching industry. And the hope is that more of his peers who have dealt with situations like this or felt like they were treated unfairly stand up, speak out to create necessary change. And I love some of the elements that he put in there about how to create change, because this is supposedly what it's about. I just feel like now that the NFL is on the offensive, where people are taking digs at Brian Flores and picking holes in his argument. But I do believe that his claims and the issues that he brought up and the things that he experienced are valid. Now, are they worthy of a class action lawsuit? Who's to say that Bill Belichick got the right information?
Belichick could have been just going off reports too, bro. Like everybody knew Dable was going to the Giants. Like we kind of knew Stone was
I knew Dable was going to the Giants.
Probably,
like, come on. I remember talking to I'm not going to say who or but it was a camp, and they're like, yeah, Flores is going to interview for the Giants job. He's a finalist. He's got a good shot. I'm like, bro, that job's going to Dable. Like, stop kidding yourself. Like, and unfortunately, most of the people in society don't know how the league works, but Flores knows how the league works, and I think part of the problem is He's trying to fight against how the league works, because a lot of these GMs, and this is what people don't realize, a lot of these GMs, a lot of these coaches, you don't think Mike McCoy has to walk into this interview and Kellen Moore has to walk into this interview and name off his staff? You don't think before he even accepts the job, he has to present his staff to Steve Ross?
And by the way, on the flip side, Kellen Moore knows he has no shot pretty much at the job, that it's Mike McDaniels to lose. He also knows that too. Most of us know it too, that Kellen Moore really doesn't have a shot. Unless Mike McDaniel doesn't want the job, Kellen Moore is only there as a fallback plan.
As Brian Flores was.
It's kind of the same thing that Brian Flores walked into with the Giants.
As Brian Flores was. And he should have known that. He did know that.
By the way, Omar, your editor is looking for a new writer. He set up 5 interviews over the next 4 days. She. In the second interview, she loves the candidate. Don't you think it's human nature going, that's my lead dog right now. That's who I'm hiring already. Now, she's still going to do the responsible thing, because I've done it too. You're going to take the other interviews. You're not going to be unprofessional and tell them, no, we found our person, see you later. No, you will go through the process, because just in case they wow you take them over the person you like, or you make a note and you say, oh, you know what? I really like this person. So if I lose somebody else, I'm going to call this person next. So that's what happens in life. It's not a color thing. It's not a sex thing. It's not any of that. It's a human nature thing. If you're a boss, that once you run into the candidate you like, you can't do anything about it.
But you also need to know.
There's no way that you're going to say, oh, I refuse to make a decision. I will wait till I've met everybody. That's a lie. The second you like a person, you're going to go, that's my lead dog right there. All right.
But you also have to have the opportunity. You also have to give yourself the opportunity to be impressed by the other candidates.
Exactly.
And somebody can absolutely win you over.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that's,
By the way, Mike Tomlin did that. They had Russ Grimm. Russ Grimm was going to be the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then they were right there. They were going to hire Russ Grimm. And then Tomlin sat down, blew them away, and they gave it to Tomlin. That's human nature, dude.
Yeah, and the sad thing is you can never you can't give me another example of that happening. And
no, I'm not telling you happening by color. I'm just saying happening by that's how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's human nature for any boss. Anybody that tells you that they don't do that, they're lying. They are absolutely lying. They can set up 10 interviews, and if the first person knocks your socks off and you love that person,
everybody's got to measure up.
You're already hiring that person, but you're going to do the other 9.
Or you're going to try to. You're going to try to, and you might not. Because here's the thing. They have to go through the process of Brian Flores. What's supposed Miami makes Brian Flores a ridiculous $8 million a year offer, and he decides that he's going to reunite with Tua.
Right. You got to do the process. Yes. Yes.
And that's what I really don't understand, or the lawsuit didn't, he's using the Belichick text as a smoking gun. And yes, we all know that's how this thing works. And we all know that's how the process works. And yes, you should fix the process. And yes, you should be more inclusive about who is in the interview process. To me, why Dan Marino, Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, a present player, maybe Xavier Howard or Jerome Baker aren't in this interview process right now, I think it would have been a wise idea. I think it would have been a smart approach.
No, you don't have people that aren't going to be around long term. You don't even know what their futures are.
No. But
they don't pay salaries.
I didn't say they get votes, but they give you feedback. They give you feedback on the process.
Players don't know enough to do that. I'm sorry.
And exactly why
they're not carrying the burden, and they may have, and they're not going to be objective enough either. They may have an agenda driven because it might be an offensive coach, so they like him. Or
so does everybody else. So does everybody else.
Everybody else.
You don't think Garfinkel has an agenda?
Everybody else doesn't own the team, and everybody else's job isn't on the line. The general manager's job is on the line when they hire that head coach. The owner's ass is on the line when they hire the head coach. The player doesn't matter. So they may not even be around for the coach's tenure.
Okay, so maybe not a present player, but you're telling me that Jason Taylor could not have helped the process right now? Say to Steve Ross, you know what?
I can go with that one. I can go with a former player as a consultant. I'm with you there. I would never put a current player, but I would definitely. I like that idea, Omar.
We can hammer it out. We can talk it out, but it can't just be this selective group of. Basically.
Hey, listen, you got to trust Jason Taylor and Dan Marino over Stephen Ross. So, I mean, that's a great idea, actually, when you think about it, because
don't forget
the owner's the owner, but his football decisions are,
yeah. I mean, you can't you could have put Keith Sims in there, Jason Taylor, Zach, and I'm not saying that they get the deciding vote, but they can give you feedback on each person's presentation.
I love
that you might not be cognizant of because you're not in a locker room. You know, Jason Taylor might tell you, I might have a problem responding to Kellen Moore if he was my coach, or he reminds me a lot of Cam Cameron, or but and I hate when people say, okay, the only way to solve this is for these owners to sell the team and for more minorities to become. This is where we get into your conversation.
You still need a good owner, whatever color, sex, whatever. You still don't know what that owner's going to be.
Jay-Z and Usher are, and Drake are minority owners in NBA. You think they're sitting down at the head coach?
Michael Jordan's the greatest player ever and the worst GM ever. He has both titles.
Listen. So I don't think it's about adding minorities ownership, and I've heard that on these networks, and I think it's the dumbest thing ever. Like, I'm sorry, Steve Ross put his $1.1 billion down to buy the Dolphins. He's put nearly $1 billion into the product. Now the franchise is worth $3.4 billion. He's tripled his money. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not just gonna give it away to somebody. Like, this is, somebody said this, and I really never thought about it. But if you're a billionaire, you know where the safest place to put your money is? It's in a professional sports team, because you'll walk away with 3 times the profit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And you're paying yourself salary on top of that. You can give yourself a $40 million salary. You pay all your expenses when you're traveling, or you can put it on the team. Like, man, come on. Tax write-off, benefits. Like, you can pay your family. You can put family on staff. Like, are you kidding me? This is the greatest hustle in all of the world, to be a professional sports team owner.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
And it's hard to get in. You think Steve Ross spent 2 decades trying to become a professional sports team owner?
I know. Lots of people tried. Trump even tried.
Yeah, Steve Ross. That's where he developed a relationship.
Bon Jovi tried, couldn't get in.
Who?
Bon Jovi also tried, couldn't get in. Different people. It's not an easy thing to get in to be an NFL owner, man. They got to let you into that little club. So you've got to be white enough and racist enough. I'm sorry. Did I say that? I'm sorry.
Damn it.
Anyway, listen. One more.
You gotta be able to handle yourself in the country club environment. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Anytime I go to the owners' meetings where we're in the country club environment, I feel so out of place.
I wonder why. Anyway, will this mess at all scare away Mike McDaniel? Because I'm not hearing anything. I'm not even hearing him tied with any other teams.
Wants the job.
From the get-go, it's Dable 1 and McDaniel 2. So Dable's gone.
Wants the job. Wants the job.
Okay.
And wants the job. This is it. And keep in mind, a lot of people aren't considering him because of his past and life experiences. And, he is
he's a human being like the rest of us that have had our ups and downs.
Yeah. And wow. Like, it don't bother me. I
actually admire people that fight through adversity and overcome it. those are the kind of people you want to be associated with, actually, because now you know how they would handle the adversity.
Yeah.
The people that have lived that prime and proper life, you don't know what happens when the shit hits the fan and how they're going to react. So I actually love people that are able to overcome adversity. To me, I admire things like that.
So, and it looks like he believes in Tua. He's going to have a plan for Tua. He's clearly going to need help building a staff. So inheriting some of the defensive assistants, maybe even some of the offensive assistants, not a bad thing. I'm at the point where I'm just ready to get this over with, as you know, and begin.
You're just worn out, dude.
I am. And begin my career with my 7th coach, if I'm still here, to be honest with you.
You'll be here. You'll be here. You'll be here. We'll keep you here. One way or another, you're stuck with us. All right?
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sunset.
I'm watching a picture of John Elway. Man, you're too hard on. He's just an aged white man. Like,
he's a human Shar-Pei, bro. He's a human Shar-Pei. Just get the fingers ready.
The face fell a little. Listen, the face and the chin fell a little. I can't believe that you're judging him because of that. Like, that's not fair.
Sides are coming like, there's like ruffles here. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot going on in that face. Anyway, get your Mike McDaniel stories ready because he's going to be hired around Saturday night or Sunday. They want to clear it out before Super Bowl week, so get ready. You'll be typing a lot this weekend.
Sunday. Yeah, you clear it out before Super Bowl week. That is an excellent point. Yeah. Sunday, Monday.
There you go.
I think Sunday.
All right, well, we'll catch you on Tuesday.
All right, talk to you later.
Right, you got it. There you go. The great Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by EJDconstruction.com, where you can trust their team of construction experts. American Dream Lending. Go to adreamlending.com. Stop dreaming and start living your best life. Perdermo Cigars. Experience the Perdermo way. Go to perdermocigars.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, welcome back. We take you, of course, till the end of this hour, probably. Who knows? You know who it is. Anyway, so 1 o'clock, 1:15, 1:20, who knows? We'll end it. You know how it is. It's kind of one of those things. It starts when it starts. It ends when it ends. Look, the great Manny Navarro is making his way here. All right. We're going to have Manny on in a few minutes. What's up, baby? How you doing? Good. Go into the store that you created. By the way, some guy is picking on me. Apparently, he says, Orlando, you're wrong about basketball and all that. No. Well, James Naismith is a Canadian-American physical educator, physical physician, Christian chaplain, sports coach, and inventor of the game of basketball. After moving to the United States, he wrote the original basketball rules and founded the University of Kansas basketball program. There you go. So he was here in America. So he's Canadian-American. Is that what you mean? That technically he was in another, well, this country created basketball. That's the point. Okay? I love how some of you idiots out there, you either have no life that you have to like try to get little technical things. Oh no, he's wrong. Let me send out a text to Orlando. Hey, you're wrong. It wasn't created by an American. Dude, the only Americans are the Indians. The rest of us come from somewhere else. It's just the way it is. I get all of that, dude. There's really no real Americans. I get it. I understand your technicality. But we're all, when you're here, dude. This is it. We're a country of mutts, as Bill Murray would say in Stripes. Some of you out there, man, you really need to get laid. You need a life, something. I don't know what it is. But you all really need some kind of a life. Big O, Ross and company interviewed Tomlin for the head coaching job here before he took the Pitt job. Miami did not hire him because he was too hip-hop for them. Disgusting. Darren, it wasn't Ross. Okay? Just so you'll know. It was the Wayne Huizenga regime when he interviewed, and he interviewed for the Cam Cameron job, I want to say. He was a finalist for the Cam Cameron. Go look when he was hired for Pittsburgh, and then what Miami went with at that time. It wasn't Stephen Ross, so don't blame Ross, dude. There's a lot of things we can blame Ross for, but let's at least blame him for something that's actually his fault. That's what we should do. You know what I'm saying? So, what else do we have here on the program? That's correct. It started in Springfield, Massachusetts, YMCA during the Progressive era. Yes, I know. It was invented here in this country by us. It's fine. Whatever. What else do we have? All right. I don't think I see anything there. Overall. By the way, did you guys see the story by Tabor Pepper, the long snapper for San Francisco? My man was not happy about what went on here with the Miami Dolphins. And if you go to Alan Pupar's articles there for Sports Illustrated, the Fan Nation, all Dolphins Fan Nation, and by the way, you should bookmark that page because Alan Allen has that disease that Manny Navarro has, that they write like 86 articles a day and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's a good disease for us because, hell, they want to keep writing. We'll keep reading. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So, Tabor was the long snapper here. When they cut John Denny, they signed Tabor, right? And so Tabor had a pretty strong reaction to everything that was going on. So Tabor tweeted this out. Finding out that this was possibly happening while I was playing there makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. 2019 was the worst year of my entire life. I had never thought about quitting football until that season in Miami. I've been filled with rage since I learned about this. So, let me see what else he says here. Don't get it twisted. I wasn't a fan of Flo either. So it's not like I'm taking sides here. That entire experience was miserable, and I wouldn't wish my experience on my worst enemy. That's all I have to say about this issue. And this is what has to end. See, in the wake of all of this with Flo, you see, this is why I say Flo is a terrible example for this cause, because we know the NFL needs to be more inclusive. We all know that. They have a terrible problem. But at the same time, you want to use the right examples to fight it. Flo is not one of them. When you're a first-class a-hole, you kind of buried yourself too in the process. And that's the thing. Juice F5, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, Big O McDaniel related to Mark Anthony, the singer? Is he really related to Mark Anthony? I had no idea. Need it? Oh, you okay? All right. Okay. All right. All right. By the way, the Big O Show is proudly brought to you by Sloman's Home Security, and a proud sponsor. You see the Sloman's Inside the Paint Show Wednesdays 9 to 10 a.m. And listen, man, Sloman's, folks, listen, they are a great sponsor of our program, and this is the kind of company that you can trust to protect your home, protect your business, protect your family, protect your pets. Very important in our house, man. We've got 5 dogs that we love, and our Sloman's Home Security, you can put cameras outside. You can put cameras inside. I have cameras inside my home so I can watch my dogs, because it's very important. When we're not around, I got to make sure I can check out my dogs and make sure they're all right, okay? Because they're like our kids. So right now, we're going to give away a free doorbell camera, all right? We've got a link below for Sloman's Home Security right here on our YouTube page, or you can go on our Twitter page, but all you got to do is call 1-800-ALARM-ME and tell them that Big O sent you, by the way, when you do call, and you can get a free doorbell camera right now. The first 40 Big O listeners, 1-800-ALARM-ME, and what you're going to love about that doorbell camera, you can keep up with everything that's going on at home, okay? Somebody delivers, you can tell a delivery person where to leave the package. Somebody's dropping off some food, like I may be leaving here and thinking, I'm kind of hungry. Maybe I'll order some Uber Eats so it meets me when I'm home. And if the guy at Uber Eats or woman gets there before I do, I see it on my doorbell camera and I can talk to them right away. It's a beautiful thing, keeping up with everything around your home. Okay, so that's why you want to get your doorbell camera, and it connects directly to your smartphone. And of course, it's free, and it's a security system with personalized professional installation, and we use our low-cost central station monitoring. You're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery, and you will get that free doorbell camera. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. Or visit them at slomans.com, or on Twitter. Follow them at Slomans. All right. What else do we have here to talk about? By the way, the market is moving at a really nice pace right now. For those of us invested in a little crypto, Bitcoin, give you a little my OK coin corner or crypto corner for the day. This may be the move we've been waiting for. Bitcoin right now is over 40,000. Listen, don't make any moves right now. This is what I'm doing, okay? Not a financial advisor, just a guy that loves crypto. But I told you, right, the last couple of days, be careful. There's some talk here that maybe now we're going to get a little bit of a run just above 40. The question is, what happens now? We've hit the 40 mark. We're about 40,500, 40,300. We're in that area right now, in that part. But this is a resistance zone. The 40 to 42 range is like a resistance zone for it. So right now it's hit that resistance zone, and it's had trouble crossing it over the last, 2 months now? So the question is now that we shot up, will it cross 42? If it crosses 42, then we could be catapulting into the 50s and even more. But if it doesn't, there could be a shot where it comes back again, and it could retest any area between 30 and 35. I don't think it'll fall below the 30. But if it has a rejection here in the next 24 hours, look for it to shoot down to 30, 35. So be careful, because if you purchase right now at 40, you could be purchasing it at 35 and 33. So have a little patience. If you want to purchase it at 40, fine. If you think it's going to keep catapulting, but you can wait to 42, 43 and then say, okay, looks like we're moving in that direction. That's kind of what I'm going to wait for to see. And then obviously altcoins are absolutely blowing up right now. I'm looking at it now, and it's just everything. Crow is moving, Shiba's moving, Polygon's moving, Polkadot, VeChain, Ethereum. Everything's moving right now. The entire market is green right now. So, little patience. Be very careful. Be focused on what's going on right now with Bitcoin between 40 and 42 in that resistance zone that it's in right now. It's going to be really interesting to see if it can cross it. If it does and it crosses that threshold, we're going parabolic. We're going parabolic. So be prepared. And those of you that have been buying the dip, you are going to get the benefits of it in a very quick way. There you go. That is your OK Coin crypto corner of the day. Heat are off tonight after beating the Spurs last night, 112-95. As you heard Ira Winderman, if they win on Saturday at Charlotte and Chicago splits their next two games, Miami will be the number 1 seed and Spo will coach. If they lose against Charlotte, and obviously Chicago winning one of the two, they're in. They're already a couple percentage points ahead. But if they lose both, that might be an issue also. So Chicago, it all depend on what's going on there. Hockey, as you all know, they're off for the weekend. We got the All-Star weekend going on. Tomorrow, will take on Virginia in the ACC network. You can catch that there. is 16-6. Virginia's 13-9, 7-5 in the ACC. is 8-3. The only thing I'm going to ask for basketball, can I get a little crazy here on you? No crystal ball. Yo, Mario, don't show up to the basketball games, bro. They're losing every time you show up. I love you. Coach the football team. You're not no. Okay, eres un sapo. All right? Just want you to know, Mario, we love you, but in basketball, eres un sapo. All right? Because the last 2 times I've noticed you're at the games was the Florida State game and the recent loss at home. Who was it that I forget? Huh?
Notre Dame.
Eres un sapo, chico. Stay away. Vete a Hialeah. What is it, un despojo o espojo? Despojo, okay? Go to Hialeah. Búscate una viejita. Little Santeria in Hialeah. How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the barbecue tail. Remember that Neil Rogers bit? Anyway, so a little, little Santeria, something. Despojo, chico. All right, so just in case, if you're going to show up, Mario. Juice F5 says, any recommendations for sleep supplements like melatonin, best pet insurance, and last thing, what's a good public place to take a girl to hobby? First of all, I'm not 17 anymore, so I don't park anymore on Perimeter Road checking out the planes and making out with the babes. Don't do that anymore, okay? All right? But if you want one, maybe a drive-in. Go to the swap shop. I would imagine that half the people that are there, it's a hotel, right? Because that's what a drive-in theater is. You go to the back seat. You can't pay for a hotel. You shut the lights down, whatever. You're not really paying attention to that. And don't bother knocking when the car is a rocking. So there you go. So go to the swap shop. That's where everybody has sex. Where do you have sex? At the swap shop. Isn't that? Ah, there you go. The chia pet is. Go. That was really good, by the way. That was really good. Really good. Really good. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, guess who's going to join us? Manny Navarro, baby. Yeah, it's our we're at Caneswear. So we're going to have our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report with Manny Navarro live right here in Davie, 2511 South University Drive. Don't forget, all orders over $99, you will get free shipping at caneswear.com. Go to the website. This place is addicting. You're going to love it. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Manny Navarro joins us right here on the Big O Radio Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Friday, we are back. It is time to talk a little Canes. We are at Caneswear. We have our Caneswear insider, the best in the business, Manny Navarro, kind enough to join us now. And we are working on something with Manny to we're going to bring you more Manny and more Canes coverage on the show. The Heat coverage will expand. The Canes coverage will expand. You know, obviously, we've already got the best Dolphins coverage there is in town, period. So now we're going to expand the other ones slowly but surely. We'll get everything done, but you're going to get more of Manny. So how you doing, my brother? You doing good?
Doing great, man. Happy to come down here. I haven't been here in a few months, so it's nice to kind of walk in and see the area again. Glad football season's over. We got this recruiting thing done for now. It's just the coaching staff. So to me, I'm almost ready to go on a little bit of a break. I'm almost there.
So you're just waiting for the offensive coordinator.
Right. Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw the reports with the Auburn coach, Brian Harsin, that were kind of going around late last night. Kevin Steele was there for 5 years, the new defensive coordinator at Miami. I know that there were people fighting for him to be the head coach. They had named him interim head coach. So same way he came into Miami, you know, being taken away from Maryland, until that story goes away, I'd say be cautious. You don't know that Auburn comes after him to replace Brian Harsin if that story comes to fruition and he's fired and he's let go.
Wow. Damn. So that would be oof.
Yeah, I know.
What do we hear? But you know what? But I give Mario credit because while it's taken a while, he ended up getting like a really good coach to come here in the process. That's pretty cool that he's able to do that. So you're seeing that while it's a slow process, it's a deliberate one that he's taking his time because he's really trying to find the right person.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, I had a brief conversation with him a couple weeks ago, and I know that he had had conversations with more than 20 people about this job. And the way he goes about it, is real simple. Long conversations with each of these individuals, and doesn't promise them, hey, you're going to get the job. It's just, hey, I'm doing my homework. I'll circle back to you. So I think a lot of this process has been Mario doing these interviews, going through the recruiting process, trying to finish Miami's recruiting class, and then circling back to these guys and saying, hey, I want to offer you the job, or I think this is how you'll fit in. And at that point, those guys have either gotten themselves raises where they're at,
right,
or just tell him, listen, I'm not going to move my family. I've already moved my family X amount of times in X amount of years. So, look, in the end, this guy, he's got the biggest budget in the ACC to work with. He's interviewing a lot of quality individuals. Kevin Steele didn't even coach last year. He was making so much money. He was at home basically collecting a check from Tennessee and Auburn. In the end, he's going to get good coaches one way or another. It's just this is the game now. Coaches stealing from each other, stealing guys. Travaris Robinson going to Alabama with Nick Saban, McClendon, the receivers coach, going to Georgia. It's the way this thing sort of works. It's the coaching carousel, as I like to say, and eventually he's going to land on some good guys. He said it's going to be done next week. We'll see. I hope so. I got my fingers crossed.
Okay, so my follow-up question to that would be, and you kind of gave me some chum in the water for it. So he's talking to guys, and you just mentioned he has the biggest budget in the ACC. So plan B can be, okay, I'm not going to get this guy. Okay, I'm going to go steal that guy.
Correct. Yeah, and that's really what this is about nowadays.
Okay.
The best coaches, they sign deals, but they have buyouts. They have ways to get out of deals, right? It's just the way it is. Kevin Steele already had an office set up at Maryland. He started working a week ago Friday. Mario comes in with his offer over the weekend. He decides he wants to take the Miami job. He does. He accepts, I guess, Tuesday. And now it's one of those deals where they're waiting on him. They're waiting on him to, sort of complete everything, go through all the paperwork, and then we'll see if, like I said, what happens at Auburn. It's just all of these things are up in the air, man. I think he's going to be Miami's defensive coordinator. I think Harsin will probably still end up at Auburn. It would take a long investigation before he were to get fired at this point. But I'm just saying, like, in general, you talk about stealing coaches. Yes, that's the way this thing works now. Guys are.
That's why I asked, because
they're mercenaries, man. They're mercenaries.
But it just makes me feel so good to hear you say, well, they've got the biggest budget in the ACC.
Yep.
Because now we're playing with the big boys.
Right.
And that's what I like now, that they're actually giving the coach, it's funny because we have this discussion about the whole Tua thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, some people tell me, well, what do you want? Just a perfect situation for Tua? And I said, no, I just want what the Saints have, what Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill have. I just want him to have what Tannehill has. I want him to have what Kirk Cousins has. I just want him to have what Matthew Stafford has. Just give him a good team.
Right.
And see what he can do at that point. Same thing here, dude. Just give the coach the resources they need. And now let's see what they can actually do. And it's nice to know that Mario's a good coach and a damn good recruiter, but all of that is still an uphill battle if you don't have the same resources everybody else has.
Correct.
And that's something that we've always talked about.
Yeah, I think back to all the times, we would mention Kevin Steele when they would talk about defensive coordinators, because he was one of the top ones in the SEC, and we always said, yep, Miami's never going to have the money for that guy. And now this guy was making $2 million last year not to coach, to basically be on his ass at home on vacation, and that's the guy they go out and they get, now that his contracts are up with those schools. So, the fact that Miami is a player and they're in the big boy pool now, it feels different, and it's going to be different. Just look at what he did with this recruiting class.
Yeah, dude, the jump it made.
They would not have, had Manny Diaz still been coach, some of these kids that they ended up signing may have still come here, but certainly not the Cyrus Mosses and the Nigel Lee Kellys, the kids that are the top 2 recruits, the Jaleel Skinner kid. Those kids would not have been here. Those 3 top 100 kids have not been here. And Mario's impact is felt in that way, and it's going to be felt in the next recruiting class because kids want to come play for him. And the best part about this, is the fact that him and Mirabal together, you think about, them two premier offensive line coaches, we think about how tough it is to recruit that position.
Right.
Now the best kids want to come play that position again. And if you're going to beat Alabama, or you're going to beat Georgia, or you're going to win a national championship, you're not going to do it with a bunch of guys who can't play up front. You got to have those linemen. Those are the teams that make it every single year. Ohio State gets those linemen. That's why they get to the championship game. So I think that's the next step for Miami, and I think the fact that Mario and Mirabal are here together, they're going to be some good offensive linemen coming in the next couple of years.
Well, not only that, they'll be coached up well, where they'll play also to their, their potential. Like Zion's decision to stay was a really smart one on his part, because I think he will now be able to really help his draft stock this coming season, because he will show to be a better player probably under this coaching, because Mirabal's considered one of the best coaches on the offensive line.
Yeah, and anybody who says Mirabal's riding the coattails of Cristobal doesn't realize where this guy was at. He went to Marshall, and you think about the success that Doc Holliday had Marshall when they won 10 or 11 games, I think 3 years in a row. That guy went in there. He had you go back and you look at the recruiting that Marshall did. He took a bunch of walk-ons and no-star kids and turned them into legit players. A couple of them made the NFL.
Right.
I mean, this guy knows how to develop players.
Of course.
And Mario, I mean, himself is so heavily involved in it.
Well, Mario's not going to keep a guy around because he's your friend.
No, not in the
Mario's
least,
like
dude.
super old school, dude. He's not old school lazy. Like, hey, my hang-arounds. No, dude. Like, yeah, you're my buddy, but dude, if you don't work, you're not around, bro. You can't help me. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
We'll have a beer later, okay?
No, this is for Mario. It's about being the best. It's the same drive that Saban has. Like, Saban's not going to just keep a guy around because they're buddies. That's not what's going to happen. And the other aspect to all this, you talk about Miami spending more on assistants. Again, the developmental staff, right? The people just around the program, the way that Alabama and Georgia have it, where they've got 30 other people around the program that aren't even coaches. They're just analysts. They're developmental staff, people who take these kids tutoring, make sure they get massaged, just the handling of the kids. Miami is spending like the big boys now to do those things, and that is going to make a difference in landing kids, because when the parents come with their with their top recruits to come see the campus, okay, maybe they don't have as many championships as Alabama's had the last few years, but certainly everything else is going to be there. I mean, the indoor practice facilities being upgraded, the locker rooms are being upgraded, the weight room is being upgraded. I mean, Dan Radakovich is here to do all that part, the new athletic director. So from where we were a year ago to where we are today, and where we're going to be a year from now and 2 years from now with Miami, I mean, this is what you wanted as a Miami fan.
Yeah, and I was talking about this earlier, that Mario reminds me a lot of a young Jimmy Johnson, in the sense that Coker wasn't an established coach. He did a good job, but it was, going awry on him towards the end because he couldn't maintain. Manny was inexperienced. Al Golden came from Temple, really wasn't a big-time school. Randy Shannon had no experience as a head coach. This is the first time, I know Rick was an experienced guy, but he was already older, and it was, on the back end, on the back nine of his career at that time. And so we all know what Rick is dealing with and all that stuff. So this is like the first time they actually get a young guy that is now well-trained after his experiences at FIU, Alabama, and Oregon. And he gradually took steps to higher spots along the way and proved himself along the way to have success in all those areas. They haven't had a coach that's as prepared as him since, I would say, Jimmy Johnson. Yeah. And he was more successful at Oregon than Jimmy was at Oklahoma State, actually, to be honest.
Right.
But still, I just think that it's really ripe, the situation, and that Mario is like set to now take the next step in his success of having even more success than he had at Oregon with this stage. That's why I feel really good about this right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. And what's the next step? I mean, he's got to get the offensive coordinator and the guy who's going to bring the quarterbacks in. That's the next aspect of it, because Mario's not a guy who recruits quarterbacks. Obviously, he's had guys that can do it for him on his staffs. But my point is, you kind of need to find that partner, right? That guy that you link up with, that's going to be the innovator, the guy that's going to be getting the kind of players that you want in here to play quarterback. So that's the next step. But without a question, like you mentioned, Jimmy Johnson, I think just from a player evaluation standpoint and a guy who loves it, right? Jimmy loved it.
Right.
Jimmy loved just finding
lived it, loved it. Yeah.
Mario, like, this is his passion.
Yes.
His passion is player, like, just finding those guys.
And even more than Jimmy, his passion is the U.
Right. Exactly.
Jimmy didn't come in with the passion for the U.
He did eventually once he was done.
Right. and he still has it.
Yeah.
But this guy, because he came through the Jimmy and that era of, learning the passion of the U, you're getting a guy that already has the desire to have success here more than any of us.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think more than anything else, he's just relentless. Like, some guys could get to a certain point. He's 51 years old. You get to a certain point where you're satisfied, right? Where, like, hey, I won 2 Rose Bowls. I got my dream job now, right? He could settle in and just be like, hey, you know what? We're going to go really hard. I'm going to hire good staff. That's not his mentality, dude. Like, he went through 2 months of recruiting with 3 guys on his staff, and he didn't care. Right. He was the one out on the road, traveling all over the place, meeting with kids face to face. Like, it's the intensity that he has and the passion that he has to make Miami great. You're not going to get that anywhere else.
No.
There's nobody else on this earth walking with that kind of intensity. Nope. And look, it's no knock to Manny Diaz, because I think Manny Diaz cared a lot about Miami. He certainly felt like this was his dream job. But Manny Diaz would probably show up at 7:30, 8 a.m. on a work day. Mark Cristobal is going to get there every day at 4 a.m. And he's going to demand that all of his assistants are there at 5 a.m. Like, that's just the way that he is.
It's crazy stuff. All right, so offensive coordinator, what are you hearing? You hearing anything?
Well,
Lord knows I can't ask you for a timetable because you want it faster than us. You need a damn vacation.
Well, I believe Golish, the offensive coordinator at Tennessee, he's really the passing game coordinator, the guy who does the game planning for Tennessee, was the name this week that sort of surfaced. I know that he's a young guy. He was actually born in Moscow, Russia. Interesting little backstory with him. But he's been all over the place in college football. It was Iowa State, UCF 2 years ago, and then just left to Tennessee. So he's been to 3 schools in the last 3 years. Got 2 daughters. It's a lot to ask for a 4th move, right, with your wife to come down here. But I think he's a possibility. There were other names that were thrown out there. Joe Brady.
Where is he right now, you said?
He's at Tennessee.
Yeah, you want to come to Miami?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think he's a possibility. Have you
seen what's going on in Tennessee? So, I think you want to come to Miami.
I think he's a possibility.
If he's a good coach, he has a chance to build stability here for his girls.
Right. I think he's a possibility. I wouldn't say he's a favorite, because I think there's also another list of names that none of us have been privy to, as much as we've tried to dig into it between agents and different people.
With Tyler Van Dyke, you've got to have an offensive coordinator who's going, I can have a glorious 2 years with that kid.
Right. No, there's a lot of this is definitely a place that you want to be with that guy, right? I mean, that's going to make your resume. I mean, people have talked about James Coley.
And I'm right? It's 2 more years, right?
Two more years.
Because he'll be a junior, right? It's sophomore and junior, right?
He'll be in his 3rd year, so he can leave after the season.
Remember
that COVID year
so he's a redshirt sophomore.
Yes, he's a redshirt sophomore.
Damn it. Okay.
Yes, but he's in his 3rd year, and ultimately, he could leave after this coming season. But you do have Jake Garcia waiting in the wings. You do have a very good Ja'Cory Brown kid, who I think is going to be a really good quarterback in college. He's a dual threat guy, very much Cam Newton-esque in terms of just body and ability. So, it's a good quarterback situation right now. It's who picks it up from there.
All right, good stuff. Manny, what are you working on The Athletic so we can check you out, my brother?
Well, just writing a couple of stories on some of the new recruits that have come in, the guys that they just signed in the last couple of days, the offensive tackles, Inez Cooper, who's a kid that weighed over 400 pounds, that got down. He may end up playing defensive tackle instead of offensive guard. And who's the other kid? Oh, Matthew McCoy out of St. Augustine, super athletic, former tight end turned offensive tackle, which every time you hear that, you're like, hey, this guy's got some really good athleticism.
Right.
Could be the next Zion Nelson. So 2 guys, I'm working on a feature on that. And then, the transfer portal, working with some of our ACC writers, Grace Rayner, who covers Clemson, Andy Bitter, who covers Virginia Tech. We're doing our little ranking of the transfer classes in the ACC, who came out a winner, who came out a loser. So a lot of stuff to be reading here in the next couple of days.
Make sure you subscribe also to The Athletic and support Manny. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro there, and check out the work there at The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you big time.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro in our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slowens, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
The views and statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. We are back. Appreciate it. As always, we're out here at Caneswear, baby, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Come on out here. They got all your Caneswear, man. We're getting ready. We got the basketball season. We got the football season coming up. Got to get pumped up for Mario. So get all your Canes gear here, your Dolphins gear, your Panthers gear, so you can get ready for the playoffs, the Heat gear, so you can get ready for the playoffs. And whenever baseball settles their issues, you can even get some Marlins gear out here. Marlins gear is actually really, really cool. I love the Marlins gear. By the way, Nature Bee is a proud sponsor of the program. And listen, I've been tied to Nature Bee for 20 years now. I take those 2 golden capsules every day. It powers me through the day. And in this virus-filled world, okay, where they got to tell you wear your mask or you're not wearing your mask or whatever, but you want to at least be a little bit more protected and boost your immune system, take those 2 golden capsules from Nature Bee. 27 vitamins and amino acids, 28 minerals, powerful antioxidants, and it helps you power through the day, so you're going to get all kinds of energy. It is made in clean, green New Zealand, shipped right to your home, right to your door. All you got to do is go to naturebee.com and order right there. Shipping is free when you use my code Big O, and it's B, lowercase I-G, and big letter O. So the B and the O, make it big, and the I and the G, lowercase, Big O, and you will get free shipping. By the way, they've got all kinds of cool stuff. The next time I'm in studio, I'll show you the Nature Bee soaps, which are just absolutely awesome, man. They've got all kinds of products, but I'm telling you, if you want to boost that immune system so you get less colds and you want to get energy, naturebee.com, and tell them that Big O sent you there. Big O for the free shipping code. All right. All right, we're out here at Caneswear, as always. We do it once a month out here. My man Brett, always getting it done. Brett, how you feeling? You feeling good? Well, wait a minute.
Orlando,
there we go.
fantastic.
There
it's
we
a
go.
beautiful day. The weather is awesome. How can you not feel alive right now? It's
By the way,
Florida.
can we keep this weather so every time we do a show out here, we can
Lock it in.
And by the way, the next time we're out here is going to be for the Tyler Van Dyke signing. Can I say that already?
Well, we're not there yet, but we're getting close.
Okay. I can't give that away? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, we'll be out here for other events here at Caneswear. But anyway, so how's the store moving now that the Mario thing, like
Mario who? We are excited.
Mario
We're excited about Mario. Everybody is pumped in. We are just, people come in. It's always nice. I mean, the Canes fans are always going to shop. It's a great fan base. Our customers for Canes are the best, and they come in, win or lose, they're there. All right, but obviously more fans are coming in when they're the ones that are hidden a little bit, coming in when the team is doing well. And right now with Mario, so much excitement, so much energy. I mean, people a little bit. We don't have an OC, we don't have a DC, but anybody that knows is not worried about it.
I think we got our DC.
We got a DC now, exactly. So when we're getting recruits, we move up to the 15th recruiting class in the country.
I think he did an awesome job considering he just got here to get those guys he got and to raise it to 15.
Amazing.
Again, we got to see them take the field and all of that. But I just trust the process here more now, because I think you're going to have better coaches. Just with Mario and Mirabal here, your offensive line is going to be night and day. And we've seen what kind of a detriment it's been for the Canes and the Dolphins when your offensive line isn't performing up to snuff. You know what I'm saying? So just with that alone, that's going to help the foundation, and it's certainly going to help Tyler Van Dyke.
No doubt about it. So the fans are excited. They come in the store. Everybody wants to talk. It's not only Canes, where not only do you get to come in and shop at great merchandise, and obviously
the best.
Little, not being as modest as I can be there, but my associate Jeff, who runs the store, Ken, everybody, we want to talk sports. You ever want to talk sports? Caneswear is the place to be. Not only the Spot Miami fan shop, but I mean, we talk sports at Caneswear because everybody's a fan.
That's right.
So if you catch Jeff, myself, Ken, or
you even host talk shows out here.
We host talk shows, exactly. You know, we're doing a great one right now.
Where?
I don't know. Let me look around.
Where?
So the bottom line is it's an exciting time to be a Miami Hurricane fan. At Caneswear, of course, it's an exciting time to be a Florida Panther fan.
Yes.
I mean,
best team in town.
The best team in town. You've been talking about the ownership for a while now, and it just goes, if you have the fundamentals and the base and the foundation, you can build it. And you build it, and they will come.
Who's our best 2 ownership groups?
I would say right now, obviously, the Panthers, and I would say the Heat.
Who's the best 2 teams in town?
The best teams right now. The Heat are still number 1 in the East.
Who are the best 2 franchises in town?
Correct. And they've always...
It's the same. It's the common denominator. The best owners, the best teams in town are the Panthers and the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Heat is number one, but the Panthers now have moved up there because they have signed their young players. They have found the right coach, the right GM, all of the things in place. Hell, they lost their coach, and they were able to have another guy in place, and they haven't lost a beat. That's a great organization.
That's an
man.
amazing point because most people don't even remember. I mean, it was just a couple of months ago, and it was huge, but you don't remember Coach Q. It's we remember him, but it's like, okay, no one's talking about it now because they've been playing so well.
Seamless.
And the great thing about the NHL, you could probably say like the NBA, is once a team gets good, they stay there for a while usually.
Yes.
They're not a one-hit wonder like outside of the Patriots in football. Most teams have come and gone.
Yes.
I mean, but in the NHL, ever since, way back the Islanders, the Oilers, Pittsburgh of late, other teams, they're good. The Red Wings, they have runs, and this is a possibility with this young talent and everything like that. And just line after line after line. And the acquisitions they've made.
And the GM we have now.
Yes.
That's the difference now, where I think Dale Talon, it seemed to have gotten a little stale for him, and he wasn't able to take it to the next step. Whereas Zito came in, looked at the puzzle, and fixed it right away. And we're deeper than we've ever been. I mean, we've never had a team that's anywhere near this. This team is 100 times better than the team that went to the Stanley Cup.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, it's like not even close. The only thing that's superior from that one would be the Beezer. That Bob is playing well. There's no doubt about it.
The Beezer got hot in the playoffs.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what you need.
Nobody's played like Bob's playing well. There's no doubt. And Knight does a nice job too. The young kid, Beezer was at another level that year.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
oh my God, Beezer was at another level that year because he had to be, because that team did not have the luxuries that this team has. This team can score goals on you like it's going out of style.
And shorthanded, no matter what, they can score. And the acquisitions they made this year.
Third and fourth lines will be scoring on you.
So in the defense at times, but I think even that, the deep at home, what, we had a couple of rough, I'd say we were 3-3 on the road. We were 4-2 in the road.
So we're
4-2 in the road. We lost one, but teams are going to lose once in a while, of course. They're not going to run the table. But it's very exciting right now. And Caneswear, speaking of hockey, we've got our Panther wear. I mean, we've got our Panther wear. We've got jerseys. We got shirts. We got other items. We got the exclusive 954 shirt here. What else we got, Jeff, for the Panthers?
Oh yeah, the accessories. That's right, like
the
little pucks and all kinds of stickers.
That's one thing about us. We love our accessories.
Yeah, you guys have
come here. That's what we try to separate from these people. Not that you can get clothes anywhere, but clothes. But accessories. You look at the decals, stickers, magnets, hockey pucks.
Yes,
football. There's a whole.
There's the hockey totem.
Oh, I love that piece. Absolutely.
Those things are cool. You guys have the totems for several teams, actually.
Like the totem from Major League.
Yeah,
that was exactly. There you go. So it's a lot of exciting times right now happening. Obviously, Canes with the changes, the money's being spent. We talked about it's.
Thank God.
And for all the people that said the Canes will never spend money, the Canes. We've all been there. But right now, anyone that doesn't see that they are putting in an effort to be not just an ACC Coastal team, okay, an ACC Coastal champion, an ACC winner. They want it all. You could tell. The energy of this team and everything they're doing, everybody involved with the program. I mean, you got to give it up to President Frank. Phenomenal.
Oh yeah. No, he did the things that prior presidents refused to do, and they won in spite of it sometimes. Tadfoot. I got to commend him. He did something that I never ever thought.
When he left Harvard, he said, right when he was at Harvard, I think he said that. Athletics mean a lot to a school. He said, look at Alabama. They're getting students that they would have never gotten if they weren't a great football team.
Right.
Now they're getting to be a better university. So where obviously Shalala went ahead and thought medicine, and she's helping now from paying dividends now that money's funneling to the sports program.
They're printing money left and right.
Exactly.
There.
So he thinks athletics is the way to go.
Why didn't we have the University of Miami give money away instead of Biden? That would have saved me some tax money. All right, I'm gonna let it go. Anyway, so Marlins gear, Panthers gear,
Panther gear,
and when they order over $99,
over $99 at caneswear.com, we ship for free. Exactly, always 10% off. for military and service personnel. Okay, first responders, 10% up online or in the store. Just ask it for us. Alumni, 10% as well. All right, $99 and up, free shipping, like we said. Obviously, we're talking about the Canes, the Panthers, Inter Miami, right around the corner. You know a little bit about that, right? We got all the new gear coming in, the new jerseys and everything like that. So we're really excited about that. First game, February 26th, is right around the corner.
Really young team. Let's hope that they can find a couple of young pieces to build on this year. This is one of those. This is not a year where you look for the playoffs or any kind of big-time success. I think this is one of those years where you hope that Chris Henderson has found a couple of young guys that they can build on down the line. And then, in another year, they'll unload the Higuain contract, and then they can start to bring in the DPs again, and hopefully they'll pick some good ones this time around.
Definitely excited about that. And going back to what you said originally about signings, we do have people are asking all the time, Brad, who's coming to the store?
Well, you had Braxton Burials here, and there was like 8,000 people.
Yeah, we had that. We just did a promotion in the
store. Did he bring his girlfriend?
At that time, no.
Oh, okay.
No, we're hoping to have him again. We've had him 3 times. It's been fantastic.
Require that he bring, is it Olivia Culpo? No, it's her sister, right? Culpo's going out with the other guy, and then her sister, I think he's going out with the sister of Olivia Culpo.
You know, you got all the inside scoop.
I think that's how it goes.
You got all the inside scoop. But a few days ago, this what was it on Saturday?
Hard to forget hot women.
Saturday. It's never easy to not remember. I'm trying to think of the words there without getting in trouble. We had Tyler Van Dyke and Xavier Restrepo in. They did a video. It's on our Facebook and Instagram. We gave away, we did 30% of all sales for that time while they were on the weekend to their team. We raised almost $2,000, $1,957, I think it was, for their 12 and. Hey guys, thanks for coming in. Appreciate your service. We gave $1,900 and change to their 9 and under football team, which is a great thing. We love to help out. Being a small community business, being the only small business of what we do.
Amen.
Always a great thing to help out.
It's about the community, baby.
It's all about win-win. At Canes, we're win-win all the time. So
damn right.
So we appreciate everybody that comes out to us, and we try to give back as well. So we're just excited right now. Great weather, great atmosphere, great team play. It's going to be a great season.
Go to caneswear.com, check it out. Whatever your favorite local team, you can find some gear there, get it delivered right to your house, or come on down to 2511 South University Drive and find out why this is the most addicting store there is in South Florida. Okay? You will love it. Trust me. You will spend hours here. Okay? It is awesome. Caneswear.com. Brett, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Orlando. Always appreciate it.
You got it. There you go. Brett, as always, man, coming through for us here at Caneswear. Canes, by the way, will be in action tomorrow against Virginia at 5 o'clock. Mario, you cannot show up to basketball games, okay? They're losing those games. You cannot show up, all right? First go to Hialeah, Despojo, then you can come back to the basketball games. But anyway, the Canes are 8-3 in the ACC, so they've got to pick this up in a big-time way. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. What else do we have here on the program? The market is moving, by the way. Bitcoin is over 40,000 right now. It is now approaching 41,000. It is at $40,700 right now. So it is moving to $41,000 Bitcoin. That's pretty cool. Okay. On the Cash App, Ray Grullon, thank you, sir. I appreciate you giving us a little love on the Cash App. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There we go. Thank you, Ray. As always, remember Cash App or Venmo. That is Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. If you want to make a donation on Cash App or Venmo. What else do we have here? Make sure we don't have any specific questions or anything else going on. I have not checked the text line either at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 to get in on the text line. Always active. This text line is smoking. I spend my times at night sometimes. I will tonight for a little bit trying to answer some of your questions on text because they're constantly coming in. And again, I'm having trouble with this damn iPad. I don't know why. It's the Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's slow, man. Damn, dude. Slow, dude. Damn. It is slow. All right, I got to fix that. We'll get to all of that. But anyway, always 855-912-1056. Let's see. What else? Big O, how can we donate some ADA? That's I do have I did buy 2 NFTs for our show. Big O show at Bitcoin. Is it? Yeah. No, Big O show at bitcoin.com or something like that. I got to look it up, but I do have them, and that's where the donations can be made in crypto. Actually, you know what? Cash App, you can donate Bitcoin there instead of I don't know if you could do ADA, but Cash App you can. Cash Big O show. You can make a donation there. I don't know if they do. Let me check the what's that called? The crypto. And let me see what they do in crypto, because I don't know what they do in crypto. And I can't, well, you know what? I don't even know how to check that right here, right now. Let me see. I'm trying to look for it here. Don't know if I don't even know how to find it here, what they sell, but probably on Cash App, my brother. That right now, at least that's where I would have it. Cash App, they do. Jonathan says, I don't think they do ADA yet. My BTC is locked up. Anyway, you can send it on Cash App. Okay? On Cash App, you can send Bitcoin instead of ADA. So there you go. Larry is confusing sometimes. Who's Larry? Is it Mo, Larry, and Curly? Is that what we're talking about? What else do we have here on the show? What else do we have? Got a bunch of stuff here. It looks like you guys are talking to each other in a bunch of them. Barney O says, you don't want to know about the vax? Oh, no, I'm not even going in there already. All right, so we got a whole bunch of other questions that you guys are going back and forth on. I guess all kinds of arguments. Don't forget, by the way, to smash the hell out of the like button, too, while you're at it here on the program. I appreciate all of you, as always. By the way, I do have to mention this for Stephen Ross, and I don't know if it matters to him whatsoever, but Stephen Ross, for his own sake, better not have done what Flo said he did, okay? It sounds crazy, and there's got to be some truth to it. It's weird for me. Flo would have to literally be a crazy man if he didn't do this and he's just inventing this. So to me, I almost got to believe that there's some truth to all this. But of course, Flo has got to prove this, right? And if there's any kind of tangible evidence that ties Stephen Ross to all of this, he is going to go down. Look, owners can struggle, all right, and not get things done. Like, let's say Viner and company with the Panthers, but they will never be hated in this town. Jeffrey Loria is hated in this town. He's despised in this town. Billy Cunningham and Louis Chaffel are despised in this town as sports owners. And I know neither guy is with us anymore and all that stuff, but I'm just talking about the facts, okay? They weren't appreciated as owners because they weren't here to really try to win. They were there to try to make a dollar, okay? And Jeffrey Loria's championship is all done practically by Dave Dombrowski. Go do your homework. If Stephen Ross, those are the only two ownership groups I believe are hated in South Florida history, okay? Wayne Huizenga can't be hated. I know he failed with the Dolphins, but, dude, he won it all with the Marlins, and his hockey team got to the Stanley Cup. And he was a damn good owner and tried. Jeffrey Loria never tried. And while Stephen Ross has tried, but he has made the kind of mistakes that are unforgivable. And whether it's celebrating the Gators and Tebow when you have the Canes, whether it's going after Harbaugh in the middle of the night when you've got Sperano in place, and all the other things from Philbin and Gase and everything else that he's done. He's not a guy that is looked upon as a guy that people like. They already look at him as a goof, basically, that's how Stephen Ross is looked at. He's looked at as a goof. Loria, Chaffel, and Cunningham were hated. Ross is going to step into that category with those guys if this is proven true by Brian Flores. He'll go from the goofy owner that doesn't know football to the guy that I cannot stand because he's a loser. He's an incompetent loser on top of all of that. Because think about it. You got busted going after Harbaugh, and now you're going to get busted for this. It's a terrible look. So I don't know, and maybe it doesn't matter to Stephen Ross, and he's 80 years old at this point, and whatever time he's got left, he doesn't care. It's about his money and his businesses and trying to win a championship, and maybe he doesn't care what the fans or the media think. But for his sake, this is a guy that will not be able to show up in this town if that is real. You may not want to put him on the Jumbotron anymore. You may not want to show him on TV, because if you do, it's the response is not going to be very nice from the fans. It's going to remind me a lot of what happened with the Dodgers and their owners. That couple, I forgot the last name of the couple, but they got a divorce, and it was an ugly divorce, and it crippled that franchise. And they were hated at that time. That's it. So, all depends where he wants to end up, but he could end up in a really ugly place. We thank Ira Winderman. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Omar Kelly, Manny Navarro, Brett Gittleman, of course, also owner here of Caneswear, proud sponsor of our program. Sean Stanley, sir, as always, getting it done here on the show. Most of all, we thank all of you out there. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button before you go, or whenever you're listening, watching, downloading the show. Appreciate all of you out there. Please smash the like button out there. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Big O Show. We'll be back on Monday. Dougie Fresh doesn't want me to go, so he throws in a super chat here at the end. He says, a new theory. Today is the 45th anniversary of Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. So, if one of the most prolific albums be fueled by animosity, infighting, cocaine, snooping, and new ass, why not us? Well, there you go. Yep, Rumors just for us. Why not? And you guys are already doing it for me. We will see you on Monday. Same time, same place. And as GP Trap Hewitt says, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O